three evils of society. In the speech was pretty good. You know, Martin Luther King says he's a very good orator. He's a very good orator. Didn't really know the scriptures, I'll say at all. Didn't know the scriptures at all. But in terms of oration, he was very, very eloquent. Can we look up the word socialism? Let's look up the word socialism. Alrighty then. Socialism, a political and economic theory of social organization that advocates that the means of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole. So socialism deals with everybody being at work regarding your economics, your production. There's basically an equality amongst everyone. Okay, everybody got that so far? All right, look up capitalism for me. Capitalism. An economic and starts off the same. An economic political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled, here's a difference, by private owners for profit rather than by the state. The other one, socialism, dealt with the state.
Right. Total opposite.
Total opposite. This one deals with private owners, like individuals. Okay. So, the United States of America advocates socialism for white people. I'm going to say it again. The United States of America advocates socialism for white people, but capitalism for blacks and Native Indians. And what I mean by that is that whites, they tend to want to run it all amongst themselves. But when it comes to us, an individual here or individual there may benefit something. You understand what I'm saying?
Meaning us.
Yeah. So, and then the irony about it is that when Edomites came during the 1700, remember they had the gold rush, things of that nature, and they paid European countries money. It was like what's it, five? Remember I went over it a while ago. Was it $500?
I think it was $500.
$500 or $1,000 per family to come to the United States of America, get land, be educated in terms of agriculture.
Set them up.
They set them up, okay? So, this government, they gave land and education through the land grant college. That was it, the land grant college. And then anything extra, they were given low interest loans to aid them. And now that these people, the white folks now that they have succeeded and become successful,
then they changed the game.
they say to blacks and Native Indians, y'all need to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps.
Without you having boots.
Right. You got sandals on.
Right.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you need to learn to work as hard as we did.
Right.
That's what white folks do. You hear the evil behind that? They got help monetarily. They were given land rights. But you and me, us, we got to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. That's some evil right there. So, these same people, that's why they are the devil the Bible speaks of. There's no way around it. You know, people try to hem and haw, but they are the devil the Bible speaks of. I want to show, what are you going to say?
I'm going to ask a question. Have any of y'all ever heard of a movie called Double Jeopardy? What was that about? Watch this, Bishop. Real quick. Who can stand up quickly and tell me what the movie was about? And this was a movie with white folks. Quick.
Shalom.
Shalom.
I think the movie was about a white person can't be tried twice for the same murder.
You got
same
that?
crime.
Right. Y'all heard about that before, right? So now they're telling us that we have to pull ourselves by our own bootstraps. Have we not worked for free? For 300 and some odd years of free, the whole world have built their economy upon our death. So why is it that we have to work again? Can y'all dig it? All right.
Let's look at the first video.
On August 31st, 1967, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. delivered the Three Evils of Society speech at the National Conference on New Politics. The speech framed the problem that has been lurking within our body politic from its very beginning as the sickness of racism, excessive materialism, and militarism, and considered the three problems as the plague of Western civilization. Revisiting the speech is instructive for anyone who is troubled by current conditions, with the visible ravages of racism, poverty's inexorable march, and the ever-expanding military-industrial complex dividing the human family. The three evils that MLK spoke about in 1967 are the same ones at work today, fueling pervasive Islamophobia. MLK spoke of the United States' schizophrenic personality on the question of race. He described the two conflicting personalities as one that professes the great principles of democracy and the other that practices the antithesis of democracy. Every step forward has an equal step backward, which MLK identified as old prejudices, hostilities, and ambivalences that have always been there. White backlash was nothing more than good old white supremacy, never content with equality. Today, the Muslim question in the US is a manifestation of these crises. Elites use Islam as a counterpoint for their vision of what America ought to be. Today, any step forward is met with the same backlash that MLK so perceptively called out. In confronting materialism, MLK forthrightly described the internal conditions of the ghetto, where African Americans are locked up in perpetual misery. MLK spoke of the readiness of Congress to grant subsidies to the oil and cotton industries, but none to tenants and farmers. What they truly advocate is socialism for the rich and capitalism for the poor. The problem that MLK diagnosed has become even more acute. An Oxfam report shows that 62 individuals have more wealth than 3.5 billion people around the globe. The haves, heavily concentrated in the global north, are seeking to have more, and the have-nots, heavily concentrated in the global south, have nothing except their commodified selves, marketed as mere things to the highest bidder. MLK's words on militarism and war are haunting, blunt, and exact. This war has played havoc with the destiny of the entire world. It has torn up the Geneva Agreement, it has seriously impaired the United Nations, it has exacerbated the hatred between continents, and worse still, between races. It has frustrated our development at home, telling our own underprivileged citizens that we place insatiable military demands above their critical needs, and strengthen the military-industrial complex. This business of burning human beings with napalm, or filling our nation's homes with orphans and widows, of injecting poisonous drugs of hate into the veins of peoples normally humane, cannot be reconciled with wisdom, justice, and love. Today, war is business, for it directs billions of dollars of profits into the hands of the few by creating and supporting a death economy. Growth is fictitiously manufactured and connected to an ever-expanding death machine, while the powerless become the victims. The world today spends $1.4 trillion annually on military expenditures, while it takes somewhere between $22 billion to solve poverty. Racism makes it possible to overlook these short-sighted priorities. MLK concluded the speech by stating that the question we ought to ask ourselves is,
cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expediency asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? But conscience asks the question, is it right? And on some positions, it is necessary for the moral individual to take a stand that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but he must do it because it is right.
the time is right to ask, are the current wars ravaging the world, the obscene open-ended militarism, racism, and Islamophobia reflective of the highest human values? If the answer is no, then why are we silent?
Well, alrighty then. We're going to open up with Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter. So, as I heard and read his speech, like I said, he's a great orator. The brother didn't know the Bible, and the Most High deemed it so. And I'll explain what I mean by that. The Most High, give me the scripture where he says he brought forth the apostles last in Corinthians. Give me that.
1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 9. For I think that God hath set forth us, the apostles, last, as they were appointed to death. For we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men.
So during the time of Christ and the apostles, you had many groups. You had the scribes, the Pharisees, you had the Levitical priests, you had the Sadducees, the Pharisees, and you had the Essenes, you had the Zealots, you had the Epicureans, you had there's another one, but the Epicureans, Stoics, thank you. And the apostles came last of all and brought forth the prophecy and word of the Most High. So it is today. You've had the Moorish science people, remember other Noble Drew Ali, you had them. You had Martin Luther King under the SCLC. You had the Black Panthers. You have Nation of Islam, SNCC. Help me out here. Who else might be missing? You had AIM, American Indian Movement. You had the Young Lords. You had many, many groups, and the Most High has brought forth the nation of Israel last, just as we just read. Let's go to Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter, regarding Martin Luther King. And we often give him a hard time, but we shouldn't. And I'll explain why we really shouldn't, because it was not in his generation that the Most High brought forth the truth, really. That came somewhat later. Okay. Give me that, Jeremiah 23, start at verse 25.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 25.
Because think about it. If the Most High had not used Martin Luther King to do what he did, would we really be able to go out on the street and teach what we teach? No, it wouldn't be nobody up in here. This side of the room will all be dead. Lint somewhere. So it was, I use the term a necessary evil. The Most High uses men to his advantage.
You know, it's amazing you mentioned that, because I mentioned what you just said in the morning class.
Oh, yeah?
I mentioned about Martin Luther King, about some of us are quick to bash him, but most people today don't have the courage to do what he did. You just heard him say that. Sometimes you have to take a stand that is neither political or popular, but you have to take it because
or safe.
That's the word. That's the word. Or safe, because it is right. That meant he believed in what he was about. You know, although it was the wrong stand, as we say, but he believed in it.
Exactly.
We believe in this. Are we willing to take that same stand for what we know is right?
Let's come on.
Verse 25. I have heard what the prophets said, that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed.
And that is what Martin Luther King is famous for, his dream. And he had many of our people following his dream opposed to the word of God. As I said, he didn't know the scriptures. If you look at his studies, he often studied Gandhi, opposed to what the scriptures say. He would, just as Nat Turner revealed in the movie that we all saw, Birth of a Nation, remember he said he was trained to only read certain scriptures, certain sections of the Bible. Martin Luther King was trained that same way. Remember, he was a theology student. He also was trained to only read certain scriptures, certain verses of the Bible. Like he'll talk about Matthew 5, about love your enemies, turn the other cheek. He totally misunderstood that. But in theology school, they taught him that when he's getting beat up in the street by white folks, turn the cheek. That's not what Christ was talking about. Okay? Give me that real quick. Give me that in Exodus 23, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's Exodus 23. Let me look. It's been a while. Let me look. About love your enemies and all that. You know in Matthew 5 where Christ said love your enemies?
Yes.
So King took it to another level. I'm going to show you what Christ was talking about. Exodus 23, start at verse 4 and 5.
Okay.
Read that.
Exodus 23, verse 4.
Listen good. This was Moses speaking to the children of Israel when we came out of Egypt. And as usual, we had some discrepancies amongst one another, arguings and fussings, strifes. Read.
If thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again.
Now, was he talking about go help the Egyptians that the Lord had just smitten, brothers? No. The enemies he was talking about is the enemies amongst one another. There may be a brother or sister you really didn't care for too much. Read it again.
If thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again.
Read.
If thou see the ass of him that hateth thee lying under his burden, and wouldest forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with him.
See that? That's what Christ was talking about when it says love your enemies. Jump down to verse 22, just in case somebody got a simple thought. Oh, that means all nations. You're supposed to love all nations. Let's read verse 22 to 24.
But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies, and an adversary unto thine adversaries.
Watch this.
For mine angel shall go before thee and bring thee in unto the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites, the Hivites and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off.
You see that? You know what it means? I will cut them off. I will kill them. So these enemies is different than verse 4 and 5. Read on.
Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do after their works, but thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images.
And break down their images. So this is obviously two different groups of people here in Exodus 23rd chapter. So when we jump over to Matthew 5, please. Just in case I lost somebody. Matthew 5 and 44.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 44. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you.
Christ was talking about Exodus 23, verse 4 and 5. That's what he's basing this statement on. But in theology school, as with Martin Luther King, they taught him, as they do all Christian theologians, that this applies to all nations. Remember, Stokely Carmichael made a profound statement. He said Martin Luther King made an error, a fallacious assumption. He said he tried to, what did he say exactly?
He tried to appeal to the good conscience of white folks.
Right.
That's what he was trying to do. He said the fallacious assumption that Dr. King made was that the essence of thinking that white people had a conscience. Mm-hmm. That's what he was talking about. I wish I could quote it exactly.
But white people do not.
But he said they don't have it. He said the fallacious assumption. Now I remember now. He said that when you allow someone to beat you, your hope is that loathing will cause them to feel sorry for what they did to you. That's assuming that they have a conscience, okay? Because a person with a conscience will slap you, like turn the other cheek. Person slap you on the right side, you turn on the left side and give it to him, and you give him for him to slap you. You don't slap him back, and that's supposed to heap coals of fire of conscience upon his head. But the person that's doing the slapping, if he doesn't have a conscience, he'll slap you till you're dead. Mm-hmm. There's no conscience for him to feel sorry. So Stokely Carmichael is saying that you're trying to apply conscience to a people that have no conscience. You're going to end up dead. I wish I could have quoted it perfectly. I done messed it all up. But I was trying to remember it exactly how he said it. But anyway, to see the quote, just to help you out, view the video called The Black Power Mixtape. It's within that film where he says it. Okay, he mentions it there. Okay, so if we had that clip, it would have been nice if we could have shown it.
Give me Psalms 124, verse 1 and 2. So some people make the erroneous mistake and say, the reason we are in a alleged good condition now is because of Martin Luther King. The reason the white people didn't kill us is because of Martin Luther King. And black people wanted and gave him a holiday. Stevie Wonder, remember, happy birthday to, remember that? So they set up a holiday and all that. But look what the scriptures say. Come on.
Psalms 124:1. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, now may Israel say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, when men rose up against us,
go ahead,
then they had swallowed us up quick when their wrath was kindled against us.
You see that? So David revealed in the spirit, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, now may Israel say. That's the reason we're still alive. This is the reason we're able to do what we do and teach what we teach today. Many times we're often guilty and quick to accredit man and ignore the Most High God as if he don't exist. That's the mistake we've always made and still make today. We give credit to man and not the one true God. So go back to Jeremiah 23 and 25, please. Come on.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 23.
25.
25. I have heard what the prophets said, that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed.
So Martin Luther King had millions of people following his dream. Go ahead.
Saying, prophesy in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies?
See the word lies. Lies. God's word does not say for little white boys and little white girls to hold hands. Okay? That's not in the scriptures. Read on.
Yea, they are prophets of the deceit of their own heart.
So Martin Luther King's dream was the deceit of his own heart, meaning his own mind. He wanted all the races to join together and be handed. That was in his mind. Okay? Read on.
Which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor.
So now when it says, watch this, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, that means to forget God's what? His laws. That's what it means. Here's the proof. Give me that in Revelation 19:10, I think, about the name. Just to prove, in case somebody jumps up now and says that means Yahweh.
You just proved it by the statement that you just read. Because causing them to forget it, they wasn't talking about any name that they running around. They never knew it, according to them.
The book of Revelation, chapter 19, verse 13.
Thank you, 1913.
And he was clothed with the vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God.
You see that? That's what they're going to forget. Let's go back to Jeremiah 23 and read 27 one more time.
Jeremiah 23, verse 27, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal.
Exactly. So, for example, the Bible says, come out from among them and be ye separate. Martin Luther King's dream was that everybody joins together hand in hand. You know, that burning house he spoke about. So people go, no, don't always reading that Bible. Close that Bible, young man, close that Bible, and let's talk about Martin Luther King's dream. That's what they do. Read on.
The prophet that hath a dream, let him tell a dream. And he that hath my word, let him speak my word faithfully.
So you got two opposites of a coin. So the Lord says through Jeremiah to tell us, the prophet that has a dream, you go ahead and you tell that dream you got. But the prophet that got my word, I want you to speak my word faithfully. Read.
What is the chaff to the wheat?
You know what chaff is? Do me a favor and pull up chaff so we can see. I want to see that image. 'Cause many times we'll read things and be like, I don't know what it means, but just keep reading. The chaff is the husk right there. You see that picture right? There's what I want. Yes, that one right there. Okay, you see the wheat. You see the wheat on, it's my right, it'll be your left, I guess. Yeah. And the chaff is the husk. Or that gets blown away when the wind comes. The husk, the chaff. Right, the shell, exactly. Okay, y'all found the clip y'all was talking about? Okay, let's pull that up.
Now, let us begin with the modern period of, I guess we could start with 1956 for our generation. This was the beginning of the rise of Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King decided that in Montgomery, Alabama, black people had to pay the same prices on the buses as did white people, but we had to sit in the back. And we could only sit in the back if every available seat was taken by a white person. If a white person was standing, a black person could not sit. So Dr. King and his associates got together and said, this is inhuman. We will boycott your bus system. Now understand what a boycott is. A boycott is a passive act. It is the most passive political act that anyone can commit, a boycott. Because what the boycott was doing was simply saying, we will not ride your buses. no sort of antagonism. He was not even verbally violent. He was peaceful. Dr. King's policy was that nonviolence would achieve the gains for black people in the United States. His major assumption was that if you are nonviolent, if you suffer, your opponent will see your suffering and will be moved to change his heart. That's very good. He only made one fallacious assumption. In order for nonviolence to work, your opponent must have a conscience. The United States has none. Has none.
Right, that was the point. That's from Black Power Mixtape.
Exactly. So y'all get that? So with all of the, I was trying to say it as eloquent as he said it. I couldn't find a handle on it. You know.
You did a pretty good job.
But you notice he said that boycott was a passive act.
Right.
It wasn't even verbally abusive or nothing. It was just, we will not ride your buses. There was nothing violent about that at all. However, that was met with violence. That was met with dogs. That was met with water hoses. That was met with all kind of vicious evil. So that's the proof that there's no conscience, as according to how the brother put it out there.
You're right. Boycotting is a very passive act, but it is an effective act because they hit white people in the pockets. They don't like that thing.
By him saying that it was a passive act in terms of violence, that doesn't mean, as the bishop had pointed out clearly, that it wasn't effective. It was very effective. It is very effective, which is the reason why later on he was killed.
Right. Now, you had Stokely Carmichael. Many of them, Black Panthers, they wanted to physically fight. Do you know they would, all they got to, like you always say, was funny. All they got to do is cut the water off. Oh, y'all want to fight, nigga? You niggas want to fight? Just cut. Jim, pull the plug, cut the water off. That's it. They don't have to lift a finger, really. And within, give it a month, we'll be, somebody! We'll be grinding in the streets.
Look at Detroit, how they just messed the water system up there. How many people jacked up over that, where they put lead in the water?
Exactly. Hundreds jacked up children. They poisoned the water. Okay? So it would be very foolish anything against this man. That's why we have to wait ye upon the Lord. Back to Jeremiah 23, please.
Jeremiah 23, verse 28. The prophet that hath a dream, let him tell a dream. And he that hath my word, let him speak my word faithfully.
That's what we're doing. Go ahead.
What is the chaff to the wheat, saith the Lord?
Your dream is like the chaff, meaning it's useless, it's pointless. But the word of God is the wheat. That's the nutrients, that's the health, that's the food. Go ahead.
Is not my word like as a fire?
Now the Lord says, you better believe it. My word is like fire. Go ahead.
Is not my word like as a fire, saith the Lord, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces?
That's what the Lord said. Just speak my word. When we speak God's word, guess what? The angels activate. Believe that. So the Lord tells, because many times we just read, I'm just reading, it's black and white, just words in the book. No. That's why I believe it was Elijah, or was it Elisha? You know, I get mixed up sometimes. One of them two had a servant, Elisha. And he said, Lord, and the Syrian army encamped around them. And he said, Lord, open his eyes so that he can see. And when the Lord opened his spiritual eye, he saw angels covering all around the Assyrian host that he didn't see before. Okay, find me that. 2 Kings 6, thank you. 2 Kings 6. Let's take a gander at that so y'all can see. Because many times we read the Bible and we go, it's just words. If we could only see the spiritual reaction.
Verse 13. And he said, go and spy where he is, that I may send and fetch him. And it was told him, saying, behold, he is in Dothan.
So this army was looking for Elisha. Go ahead. They said, go spy out where he is, because they wanted to capture him. Go ahead.
Therefore sent he thither horses and chariots and a great host. And they came by night and compassed the city about. And when the servant of the man of God was risen early and gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, alas, my master, how shall we do?
How shall we do? We are surrounded. Go ahead.
And he answered, fear not.
You hear that? Fear not. Go ahead.
For they that be with us are more than they that be with them. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha.
Y'all see that? Y'all see that thing right there? Go ahead.
And when they came down to him, Elisha prayed unto the Lord and said, smite this people, I pray thee, with blindness. And he smote them with blindness according to the word of Elisha. And Elisha said unto them, this is not the way, neither is this the city. Follow me, and I will bring you to the man whom ye seek.
So he led them in a different direction. But the point that I wanted y'all to see, many times we think that the Bible is ineffective. But just like Elisha said to his servant, he prayed the Lord open his eyes so that he could see the spiritual effects of the word of God. And he saw that the mountain covered with angels. Okay, so likewise, when we go back to Jeremiah 23 and verse 29, read that again.
The book of Jeremiah 23, verse 29. Is not my word like as a fire, saith the Lord, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces?
The Most High said in Isaiah 55, read that, give me that. You know what I want. My word don't go out void. That one. Many times we read the scripture, we think it's not, it's having no effect. You're wrong. There's always effects, okay? Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth, it shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it.
You see that? So the Most High's word does not go out void, okay? That's why, watch this, give me that in Romans 3, I think it is. Romans 3? This ain't even on my topic. I'm just going here for a side note. Let me see. Romans 3 and 3. Yep.
Romans 3 and 3. For
Start at 2.
verse 2. Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God.
So the word of God was committed to the Jews, Israel. Go ahead.
For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect?
Some people think, well, I don't believe that Bible. Like that's going to change the effect of the word of God. The Bible still has effect, okay? It will not return void regardless whether or not you believe it. The Most High don't care what you believe. Go back to Jeremiah 23, please.
Jeremiah 23, verse 30. Therefore, behold, I am against the prophets, saith the Lord, that steal my words, every one from his neighbor. Behold, I am against the prophets, saith the Lord, that use their tongues and say, he saith.
Because many of these ministers today, they'll make up a lie and say, the Lord said this. Thus saith the Lord. But they will never, like Christmas. Think about it. How many ministers teach Christmas is of the Lord? They say, he saith we should celebrate Christmas. But it's not nowhere in the biblical text at all. Okay?
You know what's so heavy about that, Bishop? Like in the morning, I get a lot of new spirits, new brothers that come in. And the question about Jesus Christ, I said, well, what color does the Bible see Jesus Christ is? And they say white. Where did you read that in the Bible? You heard the preacher say that. You heard the preacher insinuate that.
Or picture.
Or picture it, but you never read it. And they are so caught up into saying that God said it because he said it. Then when you challenge them to read it out the Bible, they're stuck.
Exactly. You 100% correct on that. What verse you at, Officer Leo?
That was verse 31.
Go ahead.
Behold, I am against the prophets, saith the Lord, that useth their tongues and say, he saith. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith the Lord.
You see that? Everybody here got a dream. I had a dream. Look, okay, yeah, all right. Mainly that side of the women. Well, bitch, I had a dream. Okay, that's nice, sister. You had a dream. That's good. Remember at the last school, there was a sister that always had, I think she was on Xanax. Every time she popped a pill, she had a dream and then try to tell us what to do. The dream told me to tell you, you should do A, B. Listen, we don't want to hear your daggone dream. Go over there and sit down. We going by what the Bible says. Then she got mad and walked up out here with attitude. They want to listen to my dream. No, we don't want to listen to your dream. You ain't proved yourself nothing yet. And if your dream contradicts the Bible, to hell with it. Come on.
I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith the Lord, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their
You
lies,
see that? And cause my people to err by their lies. Go ahead.
and by their lightness.
See, and by their likeness means their stupidity. Their stupid evil. Go ahead.
Yet I sent them not,
The Lord says, I didn't send these people. Go ahead.
nor commanded them.
Nor commanded them.
Therefore they shall not profit this people at all, saith the Lord.
You see that? Therefore, they shall not profit. Is Martin Luther King profiting us today? No, he's not. That dream is turning into a nightmare. Everybody's starting to wake up and say, listen, that dream he had, even he said it in one of his last speeches. He said he fears he integrated his people into a burning house because all his dreams was going up in smoke as it is today.
Hey, he was starting to wake up in the very last moments of his life. On that last speech that he made, we don't talk about this often, but I remember that thing. In his last speech, he said, on the mountaintop.
To the mountaintop.
Right. He said, we as a people will get to the promised land. Who was he speaking to? Israelites. He was speaking to his own people then. So he was starting to wake up. They said, nah. And the very next day they killed him, by the way. The very next day he was put to death.
So our people, they loved, yes. Oh, thank you. Very good. Thank you. Martin Luther King Jr., I'm afraid that we're integrating into a burning house. Martin Luther King Jr. talking to Harry Belafonte, I said, what's the matter, Martin? You seem very agitated. He said, well, I am, because I've come upon a thought that I don't know how to deal with at this moment. I said, well, what is it? He said, we've fought long for integration. It looks like we're going to get it. I think we'll get the laws, he said. But I'm afraid that I've come upon something that I don't know quite what to do with. I'm afraid that we're integrating into a burning house. And that is correct, because the burning house is Babylon, okay? Revelation 18 tells us that Babylon shall burn with fire. And our people that are integrated and love this assimilation, they're going to burn with it, okay? And you know what? Our people really believe that love and assimilation is the way. And that's based upon Martin Luther King. They think that's the key to end racism. Give me Proverbs. No, you know what? Before I get that, give me Genesis 27. I want to talk, because the three evils of society, he said, was racism, materialism, and militarism, whatever that word is. Y'all know what I'm saying. I'm black. I'm not a... Listen, racism. Let's talk about racism. Give me Genesis 27, 38 to 41.
Genesis 27, verse 38.
And this is, we're going to go into the blessing of, actually, since there might be new people watching, give me Genesis 25, then we're going to jump to Genesis 27. This is for the new people. We're going to talk about racism.
Genesis 25, verse 25. And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
This is the origin, the beginning of the so-called white race, the Caucasian race. Irregardless of whether they call themselves American, British, German, French, Italian, Jewish, they all stem from Esau because they're red. You know, we were in St. Martin, and a white man tried to say I was red. Me, Bishop Kenai, Officer Solomon, he looked, Esau, he says, no, I'm not red, y'all are red. You know, the white man's the devil, the Bible speaks
But
of.
you got to give him credit.
He tried, and he failed miserably. Because he was red, his wife next to him, she had her shirt, she was just on the beach, she looked like a red lobster.
Damn, I bet she was ugly as hell, too.
Not the restaurant either, but she looked like a red lobster. I said, look at your wife, look at her. She said, yes, I am red today, but I wasn't yesterday. No, you was red yesterday, and the day before that, and before that. When you came out your mama's behind, you was red. I didn't say that, I should have said it, but I didn't say that.
You got to think about how this man operates. He's with his red self. He will look at you with your brown self and say you're red.
Right.
And he believes that you will mimic him, because we have. That's what I'm talking about. He actually thought that you would go. You know what? You
might be
got
right.
something on there. You got something there. Mm-hmm. He actually thought that you would just go along with it, just because he said it.
Exactly. So read on.
All over, and the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
Go
And
ahead.
after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Go ahead.
And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came in from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
Edom means red. Some of your Bibles should have a little number that is red. Edom is a different word than Adam. And that's why we always warn you about going into the Hebrew text. Who's the dude that wrote the current Hebrew is written and orchestrated by Eleazar ben Yehuda. He mixed Edom and Adam to be the same word. It's not the same word. Adam means what? From the ground. Edom means red. Two different words. But in the Bible, the English, Hebrew to English, you'll read it, look at it, and go, oh, it's the same meaning. That's why you got these bugged out Israelites who talk about, no, it's all the same. They're insane. Go ahead.
And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
So now go to chapter 27 and verse 38.
Genesis 27 and 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
So Esau wanted the blessing. Now, in chapter 25, he sold his birthright. Now Esau wanted the blessing. You know, it's like a domino effect. Jacob really didn't have to do what he did because Esau already sold his birthright. So the blessing was always meant to go to Jacob, as it was from the beginning when the Lord talked about the children being not yet born. Okay? When he said the first shall come out. No, not there. Where he said the elder shall serve the younger. Right, that one. Read on.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
Meaning your blessing, Esau, is that your dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. Meaning the best places on earth you shall live. Go ahead.
And of the dew of heaven from above.
And you shall be as the dew of heaven. Meaning you Edomites, your children will be everywhere. Wherever they want to be, they're going to be there. Go ahead.
And by the sword shalt thou live.
That's how they got the fatness of the earth. That's how they got the dew of heaven. By the sword. Remember Christ said, He that liveth by the sword shall die by the... That was all referring to Esau. Go ahead.
And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
And that occurred in 2 Kings 8, verse 20. Write that down, 2 Kings 8, verse 20, when they broke off from under Solomon. Read on. Watch this.
Verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
Some of y'all in here always question, why does the white man hate us? What did we do to them? We've been slaves for almost 400, 500 years, but they hate us so. Can you read verse 41 for us again?
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
The white man knows that the blessing, the inheritance, is ours. The hatred will always be there. It's not going to go away. Read.
And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Esau always wanted to kill us. Always. Always. Okay? And the only way he doesn't kill us is when the Most High changes his mind. But the Lord created him that way. Give me Ezekiel 35 and 5. Racism. You know, racism, the term racism is a competitive race. That's what it is. And it's a competitive race of races, hence the word race, okay? It's each race competing for the world domination, world dominance. You know, we really ain't in it. People say that we're a race. No, we ain't even in the race. What can we do to get ahead? Only by God's intervention are we going to succeed. That's it. We are so far behind in all the other races.
We ain't even on the field. We ain't even on the track and field or nothing. We ain't got no tennis shoes to run.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Read that. Ezekiel 35 and 5.
Ezekiel 35 and 5.
Why is the white man so racist against us? I don't understand. Go ahead.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
Wait, can we look up that word perpetual? It's not a black word, so I'm confused. I don't use that in my normal grammar. Perpetual. Never ending or changing. Look, everlasting, never ending, eternal, permanent, unending, endless, without end, lasting, long lasting, constant, abiding, enduring. I don't know what the perennial thing, I don't use that word. Timeless, ageless, deathless, undying, immortal, unfailing, unchanging. But why does he hate us so much? Maybe if we all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, the white man will love us so.
You know what's so heavy about what you just read there, Bishop? Because this is in the Bible, is it right, brothers? And the scriptures is naming that he said, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. Then when you read on, it's letting you know that it's talking about Esau having a perpetual hatred against Jacob. And perpetual, as the definition clearly points out, meaning forever. So that means in the New Testament also. That means throughout the ages also. That means all the way up to now and beyond also.
Exactly.
So that means it's never going to change. So what is wrong with the black man and the black woman talking about marrying white folks?
They think they can sex them and that makes them love them. You know how many black entertainers marrying Edomites, and the Edomite, when they get mad, calling them monkeys, niggas, and all kind of names? Remember the woman said, when me and my husband have sex, he calls me nigga B?
Yeah. Yeah. The white man calls her that.
Yes.
And she was upset.
Yeah.
Then he brought the same nappy-head woman, because I'm going to call her that, to the family reunion of white folks, and she's the butt of all nigga jokes.
Exactly.
And she's supposed to be happy with that.
Right.
Then she complained, and when she complained, she said, she's complaining because she wants somebody to say something, but she said, but don't tell me to leave him.
Right. Don't tell me to leave him
That's
because
a
I'm not.
sick woman.
So don't write
she said,
us
I'm
there.
not leaving. So what the hell are you telling us for?
Exactly. Ezekiel 35:5, one more time.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword.
Wait, you see that? Didn't we just read? And by thy sword shalt thou live. Meaning war. That's Esau's gift, war. That's why we tell, listen, people just call Esau a faggot and all that, but the Most High gave them a spiritual gift of war. That's why all these little gadgets they got, they sent a drone to Somalia and killed like 10,000, it was like 2,000 people. A drone. He didn't have to send boots on the ground. They just sat back and said, click, 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 sent a robot that flew and killed over 1,000 people. And Negroes and Latinos, we want to fight him. You stupid as hell. He ain't got to lift a finger against you.
Hey, didn't they showed that when they had that situation in Dallas, where there was a sniper. Remember that?
Yes.
And they sent the robot to get him.
Yep, exactly. They sent the robot. So can we read? So that all goes back to the sword. He was blessed with the art of war. That was the gift that the Lord have Isaac to give Esau. Read that again.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end.
Right. So even like when we were emancipated, okay, our iniquity is at an end. The white man said, no. Hey, Harry, Joe, Luke, Billy Bob, put on your hoods. We going to round up some niggers. That's what they did. And then hence came the Ku Klux Klan after our emancipation. Okay, that's what happened. Amos 1:11. Jedediah. That's what they be calling these names.
Or Jasper.
Yeah.
Jasper. Prudence, get the pickup truck.
Amos, what verse, sir?
Chapter 1, verse 11, please.
Amos chapter 1, verse 11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually.
Here's that word again, perpetually. Go ahead.
And he kept his wrath forever.
For how long?
Forever.
We're reading the Bible. But our people today, I can make them love me. You can't. Martin Luther King made the same mistake. If we hold hands and sing Kumbaya, we shall overcome. Listen, the white man's just looking at you. Yeah, these niggas, here's some stupid ass people. We're going to kill them in a couple of days. Just poison the water for us. Poison the water. Keep on singing. Give me Psalms 137:7. Y'all keep playing with the serpent, a snake. Psalms 137. I think it's verse 7 I want.
Psalms chapter 137, verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, and the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it!
The word raise it means destroy it. Go ahead.
Raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us.
Notice what it says. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. The next verse is going to explain in detail. Go ahead.
Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
That's revealing what Esau did to us during the time of Babylon. And not only during the time of Babylon did they take our children and smash them against the stones, they did it during the 1400s and 1500s. Right, and there's records on that. When you see the book
Bartolome de las Casas,
Bartolome de las Casas, right. Show me a picture on that.
the destruction of the Indies.
Type that in, destruction of the Indies, so y'all can see. I know some of y'all knew, and you don't know any history of what happened.
Now, Bishop, you just said something because a lot of times, just like you said, this is not just words on paper. These are God's words and God's words of prophecy. I just meditated on something that you just said concerning the last verse. Could you read verse 8 again?
O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed.
Now, I want y'all to focus on what the bishop is showing you. Pull up the image.
Yep,
Everybody
that's it right
look.
there.
Look up here on the screen to let you know that God's word is true. This is an illustration of what happened, just like you pointed out during the 1400s, right? This prophecy that we are reading was written way back before any of this had occurred. Read it. Read it again. Listen to this. Watch this.
O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed.
This is Edom. That's who's talking about, because verse 7 clearly told you that. And we know who Edom is. Read.
Happy shall it be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us.
So like you were saying, when it says, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as they have rewarded us. So if we don't know how they rewarded us, the next verse tells you. Read.
Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones.
So that's how they rewarded us. So in case you didn't understand what it said in verse 8, you're saying, well, how did he reward us? Verse 9 is telling you how he did it. By taking our little ones and smashing them against the stones.
And here's the
And that's
archaeological
what we're
proof.
looking at here,
Here's
which
the
came
evidence.
1,000 years later.
Yep. This was in the late 1400s when they went throughout Santo Domingo, as it's called today. They landed there first, Hispaniola, followed by Puerto Rico. Okay, that's what they did. And they would hang up the natives by 13s. The one in the front facing them represented Christ, and then they had 12. They said it represented Christ and the 12 disciples. And that's how they customarily hung us and burned us by our feet. Look at what they're doing. All is the Lord says, all is going to happen to them. That's why it says, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as they have rewarded us.
See, a lot of us don't want to take a look at that illustration. Take a look at the illustration. Look at the man that's holding the baby. He doesn't look like the people that's hanging. Y'all women, look up here at the screen.
He's not dressed like them either.
Right, they don't look the same. As you can see, that's a different race from the person that's grabbing the baby. You'll see that. And look at the one that's stoking the fire at the bottom. He's burning your people. He's burning you.
Exactly. So then they want to know why. I don't know why he just had this anger towards us. The Bible says his anger, his hatred is perpetual. Now give me Habakkuk 2 and 4. So this is one of the evils, the three evils of society that Martin Luther King spoke of. But he didn't understand it. He did not understand that this white man was Esau and that they have a perpetual hatred against us. Read that.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
The white man's soul is lifted up. Is lifted up how high? Lifted up as the mind of God, Christ, the angels. He's everybody. You look at History Channel about the Egyptians, the white man. You look at the History Channel about ancient Babylon, the white man. There's a new movie out with
He's Michael Jackson now.
The Great
oh
Wall.
yeah, he's Michael Jackson now.
Great Wall.
The Great Wall. What's his name? Matt Damon. The white man has to save China from hell. I said, what the hell? What's the dude? The Last Samurai? Tom Cruise. Last Samurai. The other guy, Last of the Mohicans. What was his name? Kevin Costner. That was it, right? Kevin Costner, Last of the Mohicans. Am I getting it right? No? Daniel Day-Lewis. That was it.
I was wrong.
Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis, Last of the Mohicans, played the Gadite. Now they got a new movie out, Last Nigga on Earth. Played by the white boy. No, I'm joking with that.
But don't worry, it's coming to a theater near you.
So, racism, which is a competition of races for dominance, the white man is in the lead. He's in the forefront right now. And his hatred is for how long, brothers? Forever. We can't change it. That's what the brother said. The Bible says. Now, we may think that that doesn't really affect us, but all of these three evils that Martin Luther King addressed does affect us in some shape, form, or fashion. Our people believe that love and assimilation is the key to end racism. Give me Proverbs 3:31. They think that integration, love, and assimilation is the key to end Esau's perpetual hatred against us. Here's what the Bible says.
The book of Proverbs 3:31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
The Lord teaches us, envy thou not the oppressor. So assimilation, envy. We envy to the point we want to drink water where he drinks water. We want to go to his schools. We want to sit on the same toilets with him. We want to go to his restaurants. That's all assimilation. That's all envy. Read that again.
Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
We choose his holidays. We choose his religions. The Most High said that's all envy. Don't do it, okay? From there, give me 2 Maccabees 4. Let's show you a more concrete biblical example of envying the oppressor. 2 Maccabees 4. I just want 2 verses, 15 and 16.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 14. That the priests had no courage to serve any more at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, hastened to be partakers of the unlawful allowance in the place of exercise.
That's the beginning of the Olympics. Go ahead.
After the game of discus called them forth.
Right. The Bible gives you the origin of the World Olympics. Many times, some of you in here want to know where the Olympics originate. Right there in the Bible, it's telling you. Read.
Not setting by the honors of their fathers.
Our people, because it's talking about the Israelites, we did not set by the honors of our fathers. Go ahead.
But liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
We like the glory of the white man. That's what the Grecians are, the white man, best of all. This is all envy, assimilation, integration. Go ahead.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers, whose custom they followed so earnestly.
You see that? Whose customs we followed so earnestly. We're living this scripture today. That's why when people tell me the Bible is just words in a book, you're wrong. And you don't have no clue of world events or what's going on. Read that part again.
Whose custom they followed so earnestly, and unto whom they desired to be like in all things.
We wanted to be like the white man in all things. We wanted the way he styled his hair. We want to style our hair like that. We want to perm our hair like he permed his hair. We want to dress like he dressed. He wear the toga. I want to wear a toga too. I don't want to wear no armbands. White man don't wear no armbands. I want to wear armbands. Hey, he don't got no beard. I'm shaving my beard off because he ain't got no beard and everybody love him. I want to be like him. Oh, he celebrates something called Christmas. I want to celebrate Christmas too. Okay? That's what we have done. That's our reality today. From there, did you finish that over, Leon?
Yes, sir.
Give me 1 Maccabees, chapter 11, verse 21.
First Maccabees chapter 11, verse 21. Then certain ungodly persons who hated their own people went unto the king and told him that Jonathan besieged the tower.
So amongst our people, the Bible reveals we've always had ungodly brothers and sisters who hate their own people. You don't believe me? Just look on YouTube. You know there's a preacher, Atla or something. He hates black people. It's a preacher. Y'all know what I'm talking about, Atla or something?
I think his name is Reverend Manning.
Yeah.
That
okay.
one.
And what's the name of his church?
I forgot some Catholic stuff.
But he hates black people to the T. And he's a black man. But read the verse and you got black women the same way. Read verse 21 so y'all can see the Bible is like fire. The Bible is a hammer. Go ahead.
Then certain ungodly persons who hated their own people went unto the king and told him that Jonathan besieged the tower.
They were against the Maccabees who were bringing forth a revolution to overthrow the Greeks. These black men and black women hated their own people. You got the same thing today.
I got to mention this here because I said this in the class before. I said, if I did not believe the Bible, looking at black people make me believe it. Because I see the Bible truth by just examining us. I heard a brother out here in one of these camps. Y'all know that there was a thing about them putting Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill, right? The brother said, well, if they put her on the dollar bill, if they put her on the $20 bill, I ain't spending no more 20s.
Right. That's hatred, right?
That's some hatred right there. I said,
hatred. Total hatred.
He said, that's it.
Now, that's from an Israelite camp.
Israelite camp said that. If they put that nappy-headed black bee, that's how he put it,
said.
on that $20 bill, I am not using 20s no more.
That's what he said.
Damn.
Now, that's to show how see, we may think we get on Esau for being racist, right? We get on him for being racist, but in the same token, we are guilty of the same sins. Y'all understand what I'm saying? We are guilty of this, not us in here, but some of our people are guilty of the same thing. Give me Matthew 24, 9 through 12. Matthew 24, 9 through 12.
Matthew 24, verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
You see that? You shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And when it says all nations, it means that. Because when you read Psalms, the 83rd chapter, when the Lord gives a list of his enemies, Edom is number one. Edom's influence is over all the nations. That's saying the same thing in Revelation 17 where it says, all nations drunk of the cup. Okay? Meaning all nations are down with Esau's program. Read on.
And then shall many be offended.
Here it come.
And shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
You see that? So Christ is talking about the Israelites. Many of you Israelites shall be offended about this gospel, this truth. And you shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Go ahead.
And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many.
Right, and many of you are going to rise up and become false prophets. That's what he's going into. Go ahead.
And because iniquity shall abound.
Meaning sin shall rise and rise and rise, meaning you don't got to keep God's laws no more. Y'all hear that teaching today, right? Mm-hmm. That's what it means when it says, and because iniquity shall abound. Meaning there would be a doctrine of you can sin in Jesus. What them churches be saying? We're not under the law, we're under grace.
The blood of Jesus.
Right. The blood of Jesus cleanses us. They say the law is done away with. This is all what it's saying here. And because iniquity shall abound. Because where did our people get that from? The white man. The white man says we're not under law no more, but under grace. So you don't got to keep God's commandments. Negroes and Latinos have run wild with that. Read it again.
And because iniquity shall abound.
Watch this.
The love of many shall wax cold.
You know what it means? The love of many shall wax cold, meaning we would hate each other. We would not have that sincere love towards each other. It would wax cold. We would always be against one another. That's why it was so easy for the white man once he got us into his religious system. Because at one time, church and state was one during the 1400s, during the time of chattel slavery. Church and state was one. The church and school was one. You went to school, they taught you the Bible, okay? And what did they teach you? That the laws of God are done away with. You don't read, thou shalt not kill, it doesn't apply, it doesn't apply, it doesn't apply. So you had our people growing up in that systematic train of thought, and we started to hate one another, and it's really evident today. Many of the things they taught us back then had a long-term effect on us, okay? From there, give me Titus 3:3. Titus 3:3. This is what the Apostle Paul said.
The book of Titus, chapter 3 and verse 3. For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving diverse lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful, and hating one another.
You see what Paul is saying? All that from the time of the Greeks, it really was started to manifest itself during the time of Rome. Can you imagine what it's like now? This envy that we have for one another. Read them words again.
For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish, disobedient,
Foolish, disobedient,
deceived,
deceived,
serving diverse lusts
serving diverse lusts. If it feels good, do it. Go ahead.
and pleasures,
And pleasures,
living in malice
living in malice
and envy,
and envy.
hateful,
Hateful,
and hating one another.
that's the Israelites today. Paul is talking about the Israelites. He's not talking about the other races. He's talking about our people, okay? Give me Isaiah 11. Let's talk about the Puerto Rican just for a second. Puerto Rican and a black. Because you might think, some of you might think it don't affect us. Oh, it affects us. The same thing. I'm going to show you that in the scriptures. Read that Isaiah 11
Chapter
and
11 and verse 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart.
The envy also of Ephraim shall depart. So God is revealing that the northern kingdom has a spirit of envy against the southern kingdom of Judah. Go ahead.
And the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off.
Uh-huh.
Ephraim shall not envy Judah,
Ephraim shall not envy Judah.
and Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
And it lets you know that Judah constantly vexes Ephraim. I'm going to give you an example of that. Give me John 7:35. I'm going to show you how in the Bible Judah vexed Ephraim.
The book of John, chapter 7, verse 35. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go, that we shall not find him? Will he go into the dispersed
Will he go to the dispersed Israelites, the northern kingdom,
among the Gentiles,
which are among the Gentiles?
and teach the Gentiles?
You see what they call the northern kingdom? Gentiles. 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 That same thing, do we hear that today, brothers? Brothers, do y'all hear that today?
Yes, sir.
You better believe it. Listen to some of these other Israelite camps. They say, oh, no, Puerto Ricans, they're not Israelites. Dominicans, they're not Israelites. The same thing that happened then in John 7 is the same thing we're living today. So go back to Isaiah 11.
The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
So we as a people have been affected by the racism of white America. The same way white America has racist agenda towards all races, we have adopted that same thing. That's why we got internal fighting with each other. Give me that Romans 2:1. And this is what the Lord says about us. Because many brothers, many camps will go on the street and condemn the white man. But watch this.
The book of Romans, chapter 2 and verse 1. Therefore, thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judgest. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself. For thou that judgest does the same
You
things.
see that? That's this whole chapter of Romans 2 is going into hypocrisy. Paul was reminding Israel, don't condemn people, don't judge anyone, and you're guilty doing the same thing. So we get on Esau for being against our people, but we against our own people too. Light skin against dark skin or vice versa. Black against Puerto Rican or vice versa. It's the same thing. So you need to just shut the hell up then. Until you get your spirit, your soul right, then you can go against Esau. Another thing, we get on Esau about raping our mothers and sisters. Y'all heard that, right? In history, it's true. Right? Then you got brothers who sleep from women to women to woman and won't take care of their one. It's the same thing. It's the same daggone thing. Because the white man, when he raped the women and they had babies, they wasn't taking care of them. Get out of here. Brothers, black, Latino are guilty of the same atrocious activities. Okay? White man stole America, always stole America. But brother, you just stole a brother's car. You ever see these things on not Dateline, was To Catch a Thief, where they got people will set up these cars where they steal other people's cars. They create situations where they take your homes, your houses from you. Black people and Latin people are involved in many of those same scandals to this day. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. So Martin Luther King talked about racism. That spirit, that competitive spirit, is amongst our people today. He also talked about capitalism, which deals with materialism. Give me Obadiah chapter 5. Actually, read 1 through 4. Read 1 through 5. 5 is the point I want, dealing with capitalism or materialism.
Obadiah, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Stop right there. This has not happened yet. That what you just read, an ambassador sent among the heathen. He said, come ye, let's rise up against her in battle. The her in this chapter we're going to find out is the United States of America. It is not talking about the land of Israel. It's talking about the United States of America. Read on, I'm going to prove it.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen.
So Edom, the so-called white man, is small amongst the heathen. Right?
Thou art greatly despised.
The Bible reveals that nobody really likes him. But because he's in the power seat, people do what he says. It's going to say that as we read down.
The pride of thine heart have deceived thee.
Edom is a proud race. Come on.
Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock.
That's where the word Caucasian comes from. Caucasian comes from the word Caucasus, which comes from the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. That's what it means, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. During the time of Jacob, they dwelt in Mount Seir, S-E-I-R, okay? During the Middle Ages, they lived in the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. Go ahead.
Whose habitation is high.
That's why they live in skyscrapers. It reminds them of the ancient caves and mountains they lived in at one time. Go ahead.
That saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
In order to ask that question, who can bring me down to the ground, you got to have what, brothers? Power. They got nuclear power. That's why they can say boldly, who can conquer us? Go ahead.
Though
That's why, going back to my first statement, that's why the nations follow them. It's not that they love Esau, it's that Esau has the economic and military power, so all nations follow their lead. Read.
Verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
Now we get into America. The Lord is directing it more specific who he's talking about. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. What is the symbol of the United States of America, brothers? The eagle. Read.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars.
Who set their nest among the stars, brother? America, 1969, they said the eagle has landed. That's not talking about Israel over there now. That's not talking about Britain. It's not talking about Germany. That is specific for the United States of America. This is their headquarters. Did you finish that?
Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
Thence will I bring thee down. That's when the word of God really started to come out. Read.
Verse 5.
Now this is the point.
If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out?
So what is the Lord doing? He's showing us the mindset of Esau. If thieves came to rob Esau, anybody, they would have left some grapes. But he said the Edomite, their nature is to take everything. Understand that. Esau will not only take the grape, they'll take the vine, they'll take the earth that the vine was planted in. They'll take you for being around there. That's the mindset of the Lord in it. If we reject that, the Lord said, you a fool if you reject what the Lord knows what he created. Now, remember we read earlier, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. A upright thief will say, well, okay, I'm going to steal this, but I'm not going to steal that. I'm going to leave him with something. Esau don't have a conscience like that. They say, take the grape, take the vine, take the earth, take the woman that planted the grapes, take the man that had sex with her, take the kid that she birthed, take everything. Oh, look, there's a goat that's eating the grass near it. Take the goat too.
And the grass that he's eating.
Exactly. Take everything. Read verse 5. Read that again.
If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough?
A regular thief steals till he has had enough. Go ahead.
If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
Wouldn't they leave some grapes behind? Go ahead.
How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
Jump down to verse 10.
Verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
We can't change what this Bible is saying. People get angry at the messenger, but it's the word of God you really got a problem with. Don't read that. I don't like the fact that you even read that and put the true understanding out into the atmosphere.
Exactly.
Why you got to do that, brother? God's words is spiritual. These words are going to touch souls wherever people hear this word. They're going to take this word and believe the word.
Can I say something real
Yeah,
quick,
go
Bishop? When the bishop was making a point about in Obadiah, when it was speaking about Edom, it is talking about America, okay? Because there was a doctrine saying that it was talking about Israel years ago, but the Most High is showing us in the spirit that it's coming all the way up to Esau, and I'm going to prove it just with one scripture. When we was reading in verse 4, could you read verse 4 again?
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars.
That part right there kills it, because the white man is the only one that did that, and the American white man did it. So it's isolating everybody else out. Read the verse again.
And though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
At that time will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. Now let me prove real quick, but one scripture to show you that it's talking about America that's going to go down. Revelation chapter 17, verse 11. Thence will I bring thee down. This is the bringing down that he's talking about, that the Most High is completely talking about. Read it.
Revelation 17, verse 11. And the beast that was.
The beast that was in John's vision on the island of Patmos, because he had seen 7 heads, and then there was an 8th head that came from the 7. Go ahead.
And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th.
That's America. America came out of Britain. Go ahead.
And is of the 7.
And is of the 7 heads, the regular 7 heads.
And goeth into perdition.
Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So they're going to be destroyed. That's going to be the end of them.
Exactly. So the second plague of society that MLK mentioned, other than racism, was capitalism and materialism. That's what we're reading in Obadiah to prove the mindset of Esau. Yes, God created him. The way God created him was to take everything, to have no conscience and to take everything. Give me Micah chapter 2 and read verse 2. Read 1 and 2.
Woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
This is all talking about Esau. Go ahead.
When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands.
Why? Because they have nuclear power behind them. Go ahead.
And they covet fields.
The Bible says the white man Esau covets fields. Go ahead.
And take them by violence.
Did it say voted for them?
And take them by violence.
Nothing. Look at anything Esau has. He did not vote for it. He tells you all, us all, to vote. But he himself, there's no such thing as voting with him. He takes everything he wants. Go ahead.
And houses, and take them away.
Read the verse 2 again. Read it. Come on, man.
Yes, sir. And they covet fields and take them by violence. And houses.
And they take houses. Go ahead.
And take them away. So they'll oppress a man in his house.
They oppress a man in his house.
Even a man in his heritage.
So not only do they take the land, not only do they take the house, they take the man, and not only that, they take his heritage. They did that to the Israelites. I'm going to tell you who else they did that to. The Greeks. The seed of Japhet. Okay? Because the original Greeks were Japhet's seed, and they were black. Brown to black complexion people. Now you got people, how's the white man over there? You got these Israelites. They dumb as a rock, some of them. I pray for them. I love them so. But they ain't right in the head. They said, no, the white man's Japhet. When we just read in Genesis 27, his dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, right? And he should live by what? I mean, he going to take what he want. So he took Javan. That's what he did. He took everything by force. Then when he took the land, he took the house, he took the man, and he took the man's heritage. He said, now I'm the Greeks. You, whatever, you were Hawaiian, Polygu, whatever. I'm the Greeks now. Y'all get out of here. And to us, they say we took Israel now. Now y'all are you heathens now. You're Puerto Ricans, black Americans, Haitians. That's who y'all are now. They take everything. That deals with capitalism. That's materialism. They take everything. Okay? From there, give me Jeremiah 22:13.
Jeremiah chapter 22.
That's why with Enron. You all remember Enron? And you know what? They'll give a black or Puerto Rican 20 years for stealing. Remember, there was a brother in Texas. Not with us, but he was a black brother. He stole a TV in Texas. They gave him 20 years for selling a television, for stealing a television. Wait a minute. But Enron, who stole everybody's pension plan, they 401k, I think they got like what, 5 to 10 years?
Some of them.
15? They took these people's life savings.
Some of them got away with millions of dollars. Didn't
Exactly.
go to jail at all. Like this dude named Pi. He was over the thing before the thing hit.
Uh-huh.
He escaped.
You see that?
He escaped. And he went, but like the second land owner in the whole country with billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. And that's how Esau gets down.
That was his name, Lou Pi.
That's how Esau gets down in these corporations. They take things. That's like the banking industry. Obama bailed them out. That's all crap. Right. They got paid on top of being paid on top of being paid. And black and Latin people that lost their home got donut. We got nothing. Okay? Read that for me.
Jeremiah 22 verse 13. Woe unto him that buildeth his house
Can you
by
read it again,
unrighteousness.
Liam? Stop. Just read it again.
Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness.
The white man built America by unrighteousness. He built the land of Israel by unrighteousness. Go ahead.
And his chambers by wrong.
And the homes and houses he built by wrong, meaning evil. Go ahead.
That
Why?
useth,
Because we built them. Go ahead.
that useth his neighbor's service without wages.
Because he hasn't paid us a penny back. And you know, everybody complains about reparations. Let me tell you something about reparations. It's not, I'm going to tell you a secret. The reason America's not going to give us reparations is because, and the European nations back America, is because it's not just America that owes us reparations. Think about it. Think about the transatlantic slave trade and those involved. The world economy was based on our slavery. So it's not just the United States of America. Because if America paid, guess what? Everybody else, all the European nations got to follow, followed by the Arab nations, and some African nations have to follow. Some Chinese nations. That's why they all say, no, don't give them nothing. That's why they do that. Reparations. So read that again, Officer Leon.
Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work.
And giveth him nothing for his work. What are we reading? The Bible. Black ministers and Latin ministers, no, they don't read this stuff. I'm not reading that. Give me Psalm 73.
When I mentioned about Lou Pi from Enron, y'all might look at him, y'all might look him up and you'll say, oh, he's a Chinese man. That dude's an Edomite. He just looked Chinese, okay? That dude is, because Esau went throughout China too. He went throughout all over and conquered and took over. Mm-hmm. Okay?
During the Boxers' Rebellion.
Right, and Genghis Khan and all that area.
Mm-hmm. And you'll see, some of y'all watch these karate movies, with Jet Li especially. They always have these revolutionary movies about fighting the British during the Boxers' Rebellion. And it's okay for China to do movies about fighting against Britain, but don't let you and me do a movie about Nat Turner. Oh no, the ultimate sin in the world. That the slaves revolted. China can revolt, Arabs can revolt, but not us. Not us. Read that for us.
What verse?
12.
Psalm 73 and 12. Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches.
This is talking about your favorite neighborhood, your friendly neighborhood white man. They're the ungodly that prosper. Go ahead.
Verily I have cleansed my heart in vain, and washed my hands in innocency. For all the day long have I been plagued and chastened every morning. If I say I will speak thus, behold, I should offend against the generation of thy children.
Right, we speak against the generation of their children. Their children, it wasn't me. Right. I didn't do it. No, just like if I steal something and give it to Yawasop, not only do I get arrested, he gets arrested to, what do they call it, brothers?
Possession of stolen goods.
Possession of stolen property or goods or accessory to a crime. So you think for some reason, the law's reason, it's just like, I always tell her, it ain't a joke, but you ever hear black people, y'all good for saying this. I'm half white. Why are you white? Why you say you're white? Because my great-great-great-grandmother was raped by the white man. Okay, was your grandmother married to your granddaddy? Black man? Yeah, but she got raped. So you mean to tell me, brother, not only was your real black grandfather having sex with your mother, but because the white man raped her, his sperm was so powerful, it knocked the granddaddy sperm out the box, and now you're a white man. Is that what you're telling me? That's the mindset of our people. He is so all, I don't care if your grandmama got raped. So what? Oh, but I came out light-skinned. Half us in the room is, not us, but half the brothers in the room is light-skinned. It means nothing. We've always had differences in complexions. But shut the hell up now and just listen. Read that again.
Yeah, Elder, you just said that Esau ain't judged for all the wickedness he did, right? Esau took this country from the North American Indians. All the evil they did, they brought us in slavery, they raped our wives, all the wickedness that Esau done in this society, he ain't got judged for it as yet. But when you examine that spiritually, when you go back to Genesis, remember that spirit the judgment that was on Cain. The judgment was that he's going to be a fugitive and a vagabond. What's a fugitive? A fugitive is somebody that running from judgment. You understand? That's somebody that have not been judged as yet. So that's that same wicked spirit that Cain had in the beginning. That's the same wicked spirit that Esau rolling with today.
Exactly. Read on.
If I say I will speak thus, behold, I should offend against the generation of thy children. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me. Until I went into the sanctuary of God, then understood I their end.
Now that verse 17 is a heavy verse. Because until our people come into this truth, they're always, why is the white man prospering the way he is? We should do what he does. No, this ain't King David, this says Asaph. Asaph, which was the leader of the choir that David had set up, he said when he witnessed that the wicked was prospering, he didn't understand it until I went into the sanctuary of God. Then understood I their end. That's the only way we'll understand why the things are the way they are. You got to come into this truth and learn the Bible. Or you're going to be confused, okay? Give me Exodus 20. So now, go to Romans 2:1 again. Watch this. I'm going to hit y'all with that again. Romans 2:1 again.
The book of Romans chapter 2 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Therefore thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judgest. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself. For thou that judgest doest the same things.
So we have to be mindful that we are not guilty of doing the same thing. So you may say, well, I've never stolen anyone's land. I've never done that. Okay. Well, that's good for you, brother. Very good, very good. Give me Exodus 20 and 17. Let's read the law first.
Exodus 20, verse 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his maidservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
So now we know that Esau has broken this law to the utmost. They don't give a hoot about the law. But now the law comes back for us, the people of God. Give me Jeremiah 6:13. This is what the Lord said to the prophets.
Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 13. For from the least of them even unto the greatest of them, everyone is given to covetousness.
Now he's talking about the Israelites. He said all the Israelites, from who, Leon? Read it again.
From the least of them,
From the least of them,
even unto the greatest of them,
even to the greatest of the Israelites,
everyone is given to covetousness.
everyone is given to covetousness. That's the sin. That same thing that Esau broke. The Lord said you Israelites are guilty of the same thing. Was that it?
And from the prophet even unto the priest, everyone dealeth falsely.
He said, even y'all Levites, you prophets that's dealing with the scriptures, you're covetous too. From there, give me Luke 12:15. That's what Christ said.
Luke 12:15. And he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness.
So Christ warned us. He said, take heed and beware covetousness. Go ahead.
For a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth.
You see that? For a man's life takes, what? Read that part again.
For a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth.
Many of us think our life is not a life unless we have abundance. So what does that cause us to do? Covet. Coveting is the first sin, but there's other sins that follow behind coveting. I'm going to give you an example. Give me Proverbs 1:19. Once coveting is an inner thing. Understand that. Coveting is an inner thing. Hey, Officer Leon, that one you just read in Luke. Was there a verse above it where a man said to Christ, tell my brother to divide the
Yes,
inheritance?
sir. Yes, sir.
Can you read that?
Luke chapter 12 and verse 13. And one of the company said unto him, Master, speak to my brother, that he divide the inheritance with me. And he said unto him, Man, who made me a judge or a divider over you? And he saith unto them, Take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth.
So evidently, somebody died in that man's family. The inheritance was left to his brother. He wanted Christ to sit down with him and his brother and divide the inheritance that was left to the brother. That's why Christ said, listen, I'm not here to deal with this foolishness. So think about that mindset. Many of us have brothers and sisters. We have family members that die. And it'll be family members that love you and you love. But when somebody dies in a family, you better watch out. All hell about to break loose. You're going to be nigga Joe. You ain't no good. You're going to hear all kind of evil against you. Anybody know what I'm talking about? It happens in everybody's family. Fighting over the
Death certificate.
The inheritance of what's left behind. Happens in everybody's family. Evil. Covetousness. Proverbs 1:19.
Proverbs 1:19. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain.
Greed of gain deals with coveting. Because now we're reading about Israel. We just got on Esau about their materialism, their capitalism, and we condemn them for that. Now the Lord is talking about us. Read that again.
So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof.
You see that? So once you begin to covet, that's what starts first in the head, in your mind, in your brain. It will lead you to wanting to steal. In order to steal, sometimes you might have to A, break that commandment, thou shalt not steal, or break the other commandment, thou shalt not kill. Coveting is just the beginning of the domino effect. Once you give yourself to covetousness, you will steal, you will kill, you will lie. Everybody understand that? That's why we must know the commandments and apply them to our lives. Give me Nehemiah 5:1-9. Watch this. Nehemiah 5, about covetousness. Watch this.
Nehemiah chapter 5 and verse 1. And there was a great city of the people and of their wives against their brethren.
Now, this is when we came out of the Persian captivity. Cyrus had released us, and we finally, after time, it took some time later after he gave the edict, we got released. We go back to our homeland, the land of Israel. Read from verse 1 again.
And there was a great cry of the people and of their wives against their brethren, the Jews. For there were that said, we our sons and our daughters are many. Therefore we take up corn for them that we may eat and live. Some also,
notice what it says. We take up corn and what?
Corn for them that we may eat and live.
So they were having Israelites in bondage to them, working for them. Everybody understand so far? Read on.
Some also there were that said, we have mortgaged our lands, vineyards, and houses that we might buy corn because of the dearth.
There was a famine. So they had to mortgage their homes, the land. Go ahead.
There were also that said, we have borrowed money for the king's tribute, and that upon our lands and vineyards. Yet now our flesh is as the flesh of our children,
of our brethren,
our children as their children, and lo, we bring into bondage our sons and our daughters to be servants, and some of our daughters are brought unto bondage already.
So Israel was making Israel's life hell. We had brothers and sisters in bondage. Those who were noble men, noble women who had money, when we came out of captivity, they put the rest of the Israelites in bondage under them. Go ahead.
Neither is it in our power to redeem them, for other men have our lands and vineyards.
Watch this.
And I was very angry when I heard their cry and these words.
So Nehemiah, remember when we got back to the land, he set up officers. He set up men over Israel. These noble men turned out to be nookers, wicked as hell. Go ahead.
Then I consulted with myself, and I rebuked the nobles and the rulers, and said unto them, ye exact usury.
Usury means interest. Go ahead.
Every one of his brother. And I set a great assembly against them.
So Nehemiah got all the people against the nobles of Israel, because they was wicked as hell. Go ahead.
And I said unto them, we after our ability have redeemed our brethren the Jews, which were sold unto the heathen.
So Nehemiah said, we just got free from Persia. Go ahead.
And will ye even sell your brethren, or shall they be sold unto us? Then held they their peace, and found nothing to answer.
Nehemiah was cutting them up so bad, shutting them down. They had nothing to say. He humiliated them and embarrassed them. Go ahead.
Also I said, it is not good that ye do, or ye not to walk in the fear of our God, because of the reproach of the heathen, our enemies.
You see that? Because they were living like the heathen were, treating Israel the same way the heathen treated them. So Nehemiah was cutting them with the word of the Most High. And this is why a lot of these Kemetic and all, they don't want to come into this truth, because if they come, they have to reform and change their way of thinking. There ain't going to be no real estate scams. It ain't going to be no taking other brothers' wives. All that evil that they do in these Kemetic crap people out there. It ain't going to happen. So they say, no, the Bible's fake. We don't get with that book.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That goes into the law where the Most High said, thou shalt not rule over your brother with rigor.
Exactly. 1 Timothy 6:5, New Testament. So we're still dealing with materialism, capitalism. The Most High is warning us about that spirit, that mindset.
1 Timothy 6:5. Perverse disputing of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness.
See that? Israelites at this time supposed that because they had money, that they were godly. That spirit is in the Christian church today. That's where all the wealth and the money is, in the Christian church. That's how they were able to get a $65 million jet for Creflo. They suppose that gain is godliness. Read.
From such, withdraw thyself.
The Bible says get away from Israelites like that. Go ahead.
But godliness without contentment
is... What? Read that again. But godliness...
But godliness with contentment is great gain.
Godliness with content, being content with what you have. Right. That does not mean, listen to what I'm about to say. That does not mean you cannot not improve your skill set to get a higher increase in pay. That ain't what he's talking about. Paul is warning us about what sin, brothers? Covetousness. Because if you are not content, covetousness will lead you to lie, to steal, and to kill. Go ahead.
For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. In having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation.
You see that? But they that will be rich fall into temptation. Tempted to what? Tempted to covet, which will lead them to steal, which may lead them to lie, which may lead them to kill. That's why it says, for they that will be rich in this world fall into temptation. Go ahead.
And a snare.
A trap. A snare is a trap. Go ahead.
And into many foolish and hurtful lusts.
Then into many foolish and hateful lusts. Like in the entertainment world, a lot of times when they have these parties and they have drugs in these parties and all that, and they have some of them turn out into orgies, and they videotape everything, and then they put the tape away for a later day. There was a movie Spike Lee did with Denzel Washington. When Denzel was a detective, the bank robbery.
Inside Man.
Inside Man. Remember the white woman played by, I see a face, I can't remember her name. Jodie, what is it? Jodie Foster. Remember the white woman? She was able to get places that nobody could go. She had information secrets on all the top assemblymen. You never saw the movie? She had information that way anything she wanted, it would be, okay, you got it. Because if she went against them, all she had to do was reveal the dirt. Then their whole career, yeah, that's the movie right there. That's Jodie Foster, my bottom left, which may be your bottom right. If y'all see the movie, she had the scoop on all the top congressmen, all the top bankers. She knew something about all of them. So anything she wanted, she got. Because a lot of times in the entertainment business, when they go out, somebody's always videotaping. Then they put it away for a rainy day. And they got you in their pocket. Read that again, Leon.
But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men into destruction and perdition.
Go ahead.
For the love of money is the root of all evil.
Because that will lead you to covetous is what it's going into. The love of money is the root of all evil. Coveting money is the root of all evil. That's what he's talking about. Go ahead.
And
the all evil goes with stealing, lying, and killing. Go ahead. And maybe something, adultery. Go ahead.
For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after.
There goes coveted after.
They have erred from the faith.
Coveting will cause you to err from the faith.
And pierce themselves through many sorrows.
Now give me Sirach 5, verse 8. Sirach 5, verse 8.
Hey Ella, how is it coveting gonna make them err from the faith? You know, I think some of these brothers and sisters fully understand what that's saying. You know, when it says that when you coveting, it gonna make you err from the faith. Why? Why it's saying that? Because a lot of you sisters be doing that thing, man. You know, you all see certain things and you all keep stressing your husbands out. You know, coveting after certain things. You know, when you do that, it's going to make you err. You're going to start breaking God's laws to obtain these things. You know, that's what it means. It's going to make you err from the faith.
Exactly. Sirach 5 and 8.
Sirach 5 and 8. Set not thine heart upon goods unjustly gotten.
You brothers and sisters hear that? Read that again.
Set not thine heart upon goods unjustly gotten.
Unjustly gotten goods. It starts off with coveting. It leads them to lie, to steal, and to kill. And many sisters, you mentioned sisters, I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. Many women say, he's just my boyfriend. I didn't know he was selling drugs. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You knew he was selling drugs. He ain't never had a job all his life, but he got that car in the projects, and he got an Audi. Or a Maybach. Or what's that Ghost? What's that car? A Ghost? The Phantom. The Phantom. How the hell he get all that? He never had a job, okay? And you the woman riding along in it. I didn't know where he got the money. That's a lie. You knew where he got the money. And women with sons. The son always come home bringing a lot of money. You know where you got the money from. Stop playing yourself. And guess what? The devil, the white man, know where you got the money too. That's why they be throwing them out of their home. You know they got laws, those laws in the projects that if you are found guilty of a felony, and you have the person is guilty of committing a felony, living in that home.
Oh yeah, everybody's
out.
They got to go.
Everybody's out. See, y'all people think the white man's the devil for no reason. No, he's the devil for a reason. Because you operate like he operate. He said, "Oh, they trying to operate like us." I got something for him. No, set up that law right there. Gonna get him put out on the street. Now you in a shelter. Talking about I didn't know Tyrone was selling drugs. You knew Tyrone was selling drugs. From there, we're going to talk about what you got, y'all, sir.
Yeah, this is the reason why he does what he does. It's in Romans chapter 13, verse 4.
Read that.
That's the reason why. He says, "For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid. For he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil."
Mm-hmm. So far we've discussed racism. The white man's guilty of that. Our people guilty of that, hating each other. We discussed materialism or capitalism. White man's guilty of stealing, robbing, coveting. Our people are guilty of the same daggone thing. So the third plague of society that MLK mentioned was militarism. Is that the word, militarism? Militarism. You may say to yourself, we're not guilty of that. You never heard of gang wars. You've never heard of the Bloods and the Crips. You've never heard of MS-13. You've never heard of Nieta. You've never heard of the Latin King. You never heard of these things, these gangs out there? You never heard of La Familia? You better believe we understand war. It may not be to the level of the white man, but our people are good for executing war against each other. Understand that. And we will fight. White men fight for world dominance, right? Let me tell you what our people fight for. We fight for envy, money, and women. Those are the three things our people fight for. Envy, because we're jealous of the next dude. You got something we jealous of, we want to take it from you, so we rob each other. Envy. Then money. We got to have the money. You get the money, you get the power. Then you get the woman. Get her the money, you get her the power. Who said that? Didn't Scarface say something like that?
Yeah, that was in Scarface, but they made a song about it. What's his
Money,
name?
Power, Respect?
Right, yeah. Right.
Little Kim?
Right, Little Kim. She made it. Right.
I ain't talk about her looks, but
it was the original statement is in the movie Scarface.
But we fight envy, money, and women. And it's always against each other. It's never against the man that has oppressed us. Always against each other. Actually, we fight for anything just to be seen. Give me that Micah 2:8. Look at me, I'm flossing. I can tell you, I just killed 20 people to get it. That's why we shouldn't be envious of nobody. You don't know how that brother or sister got what they got. Read that.
Micah 2:8. Even of late, my people is risen up as an enemy. Ye pull off the robe with the garment from them that pass by securely as men averse from war.
You see that? We was robbing. This is before the white man. Many times people say, oh, we only like this in this condition because of the white man. Micah 2 was way before the white man. Okay? We were robbing each other for our clothes back then. We treated them like we came from war. Like they was enemies to each other, to each one another. And we robbed each other. Read it again.
Before the white man came. The last poets, right? Go ahead.
Even of late, my people is risen up as an enemy.
We were enemies to each other. Go ahead.
Ye pull off the robe with the garment.
Remember they had the 8-ball jacket? Yep. The 8-ball jacket. I mean, that's old back. But then you had the sheepskin coat.
They know about that. Right.
The Avericks.
Right.
Don't get caught in Brooklyn walking down the street with those coats. You know what's going to happen.
The 8-ball
Micah
jacket.
2:8 is going to come alive for you. You just experienced Micah 2:8. Read that again.
Ye pull off the robe with the garment from them that pass by.
They will steal your shoes, your belt, everything.
Right.
They will rob you.
They will rob you. Now that ain't the original 8-ball jacket. There was one with the white 8-ball on it. Right. But that's good enough though.
Yeah, that's good enough.
People were dying for those.
I tell you, now
You
they
put
got
that
those.
on, you was put to
What's those
death.
new shoes and belts they got? Is it Gucci? The ones that cost like $1,000 for a pair of shoes. Is it Gucci? Maybe Gucci. Type that in. Type Gucci, Louis Vuitton. Type them things in. This is what they're robbing people for.
Now I'm looking at the 8-ball jacket. He's in a studio filming that. But if he would have walked out on the street, he'd have been shot.
Give me the jacket. Give me the Gucci jacket. I don't think we can afford the Gucci jacket. Maybe some of us can, but don't get caught. Look at them jackets. Look at the prices on them
Look at this
jackets.
stuff here.
They look gay, eh? I ain't wearing that. I would never wear that. But a Negro.
Now I see the white man is modeling it, but that's as far as it's gonna go.
Yeah.
He gonna model it, but a Negro will buy it.
Yes. And then, and brother will wait for you to put that and say,
soon as-
because black people, we know how much things cost.
Yep.
And go, you know what? Rob that nigga. Here he come. Look at him. Type in Gucci shoes. Type in Gucci shoes. Let me see. I had a case like that. A brother got robbed of his sneakers. And the nigga, I'm sorry, I keep saying that word. I'm sorry.
Because you got to use those terms when it comes to things like this, because it makes no
Look at that.
sense.
And look at the prices on this stuff.
Look at this damn thing. Look like a rat in a slipper. What the hell is this?
Hey, I got a jacket that look like that. That's funny. But these things is mad expensive. And we rob each other for this stuff. Their job is to rob you. 1 day a week they work. You working 5-6 days a week. He waiting for you to come home. He know you just got paid Friday night. And he robbed you. He said, I'm about to get paid tonight and I'm going to get my girl all this stuff. And the woman that he bought, she ain't going to say nothing. She going to walk around Brooklyn and floss too. She ain't getting on the bus.
Here you buy the shoes. You don't wear the shoes but about 2 days. Bam, somebody kill you and take the shoes.
Exactly.
Hey, that's for you brothers that like flashing, man. Like wearing them expensive jewel, them expensive shoes. Our people hate each other, man. You go out there, they will rob you. You understand? So you'll stay flossing and flashing.
You know, Deacon Laba, I love the brother. He bought me a gold chain. And the gold chain weighed like this piece of paper. I said, jingle, jingle. I said, Laba, this is cheap, fake gold. He says, Bishop, I know we got to look good, Bishop. I said, Laba. I said, we going to Jamaica. Imagine we go to Jamaica and somebody just think that's real and rob us over some fake. I said, that ain't happening to me. Can you imagine that? I got robbed for some fake gold. I said, no, that ain't happening. If I'm going to get robbed, let it be the real thing. I threw that thing in the garbage so quick. Give me, sorry, Deacon Lob, I love you, bro. Give me James 4:1. James 4, we're going to read 1 through 5. So we're dealing with militarism, war. We just read about how we deal with one another like men of war when we rob each other. Come on.
James chapter 4, verse 1. From whence come wars and fightings among you?
Now remember, he's talking to the 12 tribes of Israel scattered abroad. We had wars amongst each other, fighting, internal fightings with one another, just like some of y'all up in here. Go ahead.
Come they not hence, even of your lusts that war in your members?
You know what the word lust, give me that Romans 7:7 so we can see what the word lust translates to. Romans 7 verse 7, what does lust mean? Give me another word for lust.
Romans chapter 7, verse 7. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law, for I had not known lust except the law had said, thou shalt not covet.
So lust and coveting is the same thing. When you lust for something, you coveting it. Go back to James 4:2.
Ye lust and have not. Ye kill and desire to have and cannot obtain.
Before you begin to kill, the first emotion before killing is what, brothers? Huh? Hatred or anger. You got, yes, coveting. But then once you covet something someone has, you get an emotion for that brother or that sister. It's called hatred or anger. Then you step out and lay hands on that brother or sister. That's what it is. Ye lust and have not. You kill. That kill goes with hate, and it goes to literal killing. And desire to have, come on.
And cannot obtain. Ye fight in war, yet ye have not, because ye ask not.
When it says because you ask, that means because you don't ask the Most High for it. You don't receive it because you're not asking, you're not praying for it. Go ahead.
Ye ask and,
Now he says, and those of you that do ask, that do pray,
and receive not,
but you're not going to receive it either. Why?
because ye ask amiss,
You ask for the wrong reason. Go ahead.
that ye may consume it upon your lust.
And you may consume it upon your lust. Brothers and sisters, take the bus. One brother says, Lord, I need a car. I need a car so I could take my wife, my child to school. Another brother says, Lord, I need a car because I want to floss in front of these niggas. I want to look good. The one that want to floss ain't going to get what he's praying for. Lord, I'm not answering that. Satan might answer it, but the Lord ain't. Okay? Satan may say, okay, go deal with that drug dealer over there. You're going to get what you want real quick. What verse was that, Leon?
That was verse 3.
That was verse 3. Now, militarism. We get on Esau about it. Go to Romans 2. So the Lord is saying that we war too. We got internal struggles and fightings within us. Read it.
Therefore thou art inexcusable, O man. Therefore thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judgest. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself.
When you judge somebody, make sure you don't condemn yourself. Make sure you are not guilty of the same thing. Here go a thief going to condemn the white man of stealing the country. Brother, you just stole that Snickers bar. I just seen you do it. You going to talk about stealing and stealing. Okay? You can't condemn somebody without condemning yourself. Here you are condemning a white man for adultery, and you brothers know that some of you have gone from woman to woman to woman to woman, ain't take care of their one. You need to be quiet. As what's the Hebrew word we made up? You need to shut up. That's an acronym, by the way. So, now let's talk about the white man, our friend and yours. Give me the one, the toxic gas attack. Now, this might have scenes in it that you may find questionable, and it may hurt you. So if you don't want your kids to see it, take them out of the room. Toxic gas attack. This is the militarism of Esau.
Struggling for breath, fighting for life. These are the tortured moments of Syrians caught up in the apparent toxic gas attack in Khan Shaykhun. Sufferers are stripped and soaked in water, hoping to wash away the worst of the chemicals, while others are given urgent life-saving treatment. For some, it's simply too late. This man lies where he fell, his breathing heavy, alive, for the moment at least.
The cases weren't only injured from chemical gas. We saw cases that were having nervous seizures and spitting blood. It seems that their lungs were damaged.
Locals say the attack came early on Tuesday. They heard aircraft in the area and explosives being dropped. People struggled for breath, others foamed at the mouth and fainted. The local hospitals were simply overwhelmed. Some of the pictures too distressing to show.
3 kids just lost their mother and their father. It's chaotic here. People are lost. Families have been scattered. Children are crying for their mothers. I call out to the international community, to the whole world, where are you? This regime is killing us. These children are innocent and have been targeted with chemical gas.
Previous allegations of chemical weapons use have been repeatedly denied by the Syrian government, which has often accused the opposition of using the weapons on their own people. Al Jazeera can't independently confirm what happened here, but many reports from the area have remarkable similarities. Asked about this latest attack, a Syrian military source was emphatic. The Syrian military does not and has not used chemical weapons, not in the past and not in the future. Meanwhile, the hospitals in Khan Shaykhun are still counting the dead and wounded.
I'm going to ask y'all a question. How many of y'all were around during the time of Saddam Hussein? Because I was looking at this and I had a moment of deja vu. Saddam Hussein and with the Kurds, with the nerve gas on them. Nobody knows what I'm talking about? They went after Saddam Hussein based on that. So I don't know exactly where this is going, but I smell a rat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But remember with Noriega, too.
Right.
And the president of Syria, what's his name? Al-Assad. He said he did not do it. He said, why would I bomb my own people? He said, this makes no sense. But America is saying they did do it.
That's what they said about.
Now let's watch the next tape.
That's what they said.
I want the one that says, I never rush to accept.
Well, if it's all true that Assad did use chemical weapons, I mean, the world's nation should mobilise together to stop that and put him on trial. But I have to say, all my life I've watched America announce it was doing this or that, and it then turns out to be untrue. I mean, at the start of the Vietnam War, I remember I was 19, we were told North Vietnamese ships had attacked an American ship. They started bombing North Vietnam. 3.5 million Vietnamese died in the years that followed. Then 20 years later, it all comes out that was all complete fiction, made up. And so I never rush to accept anything I'm told by America. It's all about American imperialism.
So in your experience, what are going to be the implications for geopolitics, the US bombing? How is this going to affect things geopolitically?
Well, I'm not sent to go any great lengths at all, because unless you're prepared to send hundreds of thousands of ground troops into Syria, you don't have a great deal of influence. Bombing, I mean, you won't remember, and I don't know, my parents' generation, night after night, the Nazis were bombing London, killing hundreds and hundreds of people. It did not break our will. You don't win a war by bombing, you win it by ground troops winning control on the battlefield.
So that man said, I never rush to believe anything America says. He said during the Vietnam War, they claimed that the Vietnamese bombed an American tanker. 30 years later, they revealed that was a lie. And like you were just saying, they did the same thing with Saddam Hussein. Right. They said, oh, weapons of mass destruction. He got it. Look, weed. He got weed. He's selling weed.
Right.
No, he wasn't.
Exactly. America creates the boogeyman.
That's what they do.
They create their own boogeyman for a pretext for war. As a pretext for war. We need to get him out, stop him, because he's an evil man. He's doing this, that. We got to go over there and get him. That's what they did with Noriega.
Yes.
Same thing.
They get public opinion on their side. They
with
put forth propaganda, and all America goes, yeah, they're evil, they're wicked. Meanwhile, it's a hoax, a lie, and everybody believes it.
I knew the Negro was crazy when I saw the Negro who was working for 9X at the time. Remember, that was the phone company, 9X or one of those Southern Bell companies. And on the back of the truck, he had a picture of what's his name, Bin Laden, wanted dead or alive. I said, Negro, you don't even know who Bin Laden is, because they had taken a full-page ad for Bin Laden. Bush did the wanted dead or alive poster with his face up there. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. And Negroes had took the front page of the newspaper and stuck it on their cars driving around with it.
Mm-hmm. Propaganda. Propaganda. And you know what's fun? I was watching the news, and they were interviewing, the news was interviewing Democratic assemblymen, congressmen, about what's happening in Syria. And they all had a suggestion of what should be done. Where's their suggestion? This is how the white man sees our people, as a joke. You have all this understanding when it comes to Syria on the other side of the world. But over here in America, you don't have a clue. But blacks and Latinos killing each other at a phenomenal rate, but you don't have a clue how to fix that. That's how they look at us, as a joke, as a mockery. You're so smart about the other side of the world, but here in your own home, here in Chicago, for example, you don't have a clue how to fix that. Black killing black, 3,000, well, over 1,000 last year. But nobody got a clue of what to do. But you know so much about Syria, a place you've never been. That's a joke. The white man we make ourselves into a joke.
Right. You just have to ponder on that while the bishop continues with his class. Just ponder on that statement alone, and that shows you how sick we are.
Exactly. Go to the next video with the Marine.
The United States is in a perpetual state of war because the bankers control the politicians, and they read the script as given to them by the banksters, and they make huge amounts of money off of this. What this gentleman is saying about the United States not wanting war, not wanting to get involved, is like Iraq 2.0. It's a repeat of the same rubbish that was said, oh, we don't want war, war is a last resort. That's absolutely untrue, it's a lie. Those that are in government are nothing more than prostitutes who are carrying out the orders of those who are in charge of them, and those that are in charge want another war. And part of that is what we discussed earlier, the Greater Israel Project, to destabilize any Arab regime which might have any kind of autonomy and self-determination. Any regime in the Arab world that is not an absolute puppet cannot be tolerated. And who are the nations that we target? Those that are not puppets. We don't target those like the Saudi regime, which is the biggest human rights violator in that region. It's cutting off people's heads in public, cutting off hands. It is the most grotesque regime on the planet, and yet we give that regime weapons and it's no problem whatsoever. The duplicity and hypocrisy of the United States and the West can't even be measured. It is so enormous. And these mouthpieces, such as this gentleman in Washington, is only doing a disservice to himself and his country. And the fact is that American sons and daughters will get involved in this yet again, and these chicken hawks who are pretending to care about the Syrian people are going to be sacrificing not their own sons and daughters. I would like this man to send his sons and daughters and his grandchildren off to Syria when this turns into a greater conflict, because this is what we're flirting with, is a world war. A third world war. This is not a joke. We are flirting with a third world war on the basis that apparently we care so much about the Syrian people, just like we care so much about the Iraqi people and the Afghani people. The only people that buy this sort of stuff are either bought-off prostitutes or the dumbest of the dumb. And we're also led to believe that Assad is the dumbest idiot dictator on the planet now, isn't he? Because he invited UN inspectors to come in, and he brought them in. On the very day that they come in, he decides to attack his own people 10 miles away from where the inspectors arrive. This is beyond ridiculous, and the only people that buy this, again, are bought-off prostitutes or the dumbest of the dumb.
Hey, stop. Damn. You know, I didn't see that. Man,
That's some good stuff right there.
Man, listen, first of all, there's phone calls being made. Find him, take care, give him some poison toothpaste or something. You know, brush his teeth to death or something.
But what he said is true.
Of course, what he said is true.
The American public generally believes anything CNN, the Caucasian News Network, says. They believe anything. Oh, it's true. Look, they said it.
That's a white man, but they're gonna kill him. They're gonna kill him. They say you have no, like Kennedy, you have no business speaking like that.
Because if we said what he said, people would, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist. You're just conspiracy. Now the white man said, shoot. Oh,
that's credibility there. They say you niggers can say it because nobody believed them, but you can't say that.
Exactly.
Because people will believe you.
There you go. Give me the next video.
That was heavy. I like that thing.
God, he said, how dumb would he be? When the inspectors come, the day that they're there, he bombs 10 miles away.
Right.
His own people, that makes no...
I didn't miss a beat
When I
of
first
what
heard,
he
I
said.
said, this don't sound right. This sounds dumb as hell.
Right. But I like how he said people, either they're prostitutes or they are the dumbest people on the planet.
Dumbest of the dumb.
And that's how the American public is in front of these television tubes.
Exactly. Here we go. Watch this one.
Countries, the citizens know who they're at war with. But here in the United States, it's sometimes a little difficult to keep track of who we're bombing at any given moment.
Do you know how many countries the U.S. is currently bombing?
I have no idea.
No.
A few.
40 in between 50.
I think 1 or 2.
I don't know. My favorite color is purple.
In fact, we're currently bombing 7 different countries. Now, let's start with the easy one. If you've been watching the presidential debates, you know that ISIS is a major concern to our candidates.
ISIS.
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 You brag that you have sexually assaulted women. ISIS.
ISIS is located in Iraq and Syria, so we're dropping bombs on both those countries. Syria is a real humanitarian catastrophe where literally half of the country's 22 million people have been either killed or displaced. The Syrian war is a complicated clusterfuck with at least 4 different factions fighting each other. Our goals there are to knock out ISIS, but also to knock out the Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad, but they're fighting each other, so sometimes it's a little difficult to know who's bombing whom. The fact that we're bombing Iraq should come as no surprise. As The Onion points out, we've been bombing them off and on for about 25 years now. The other country that shouldn't come as too much of a surprise is Afghanistan. We invaded them way back in 2001 in response to the 9/11 attacks. We've been fighting there for 15 years now, and there's no end in sight. It is officially the longest war in American history. And as part of our war in Afghanistan, we're also bombing Pakistan. That's because sometimes the Taliban and Al-Qaeda hide out in the northern part of that country along the Afghan border. Now is where things start to get a little bit more complicated. We're also bombing a country called Yemen. Now, the war in Yemen is incredibly complex, but basically, we're conducting our own drone strikes there to target al-Qaeda camps, but we're also supporting Saudi Arabia's larger attack on a group of rebels known as the Houthis. To be clear, the situation in Yemen is also a massive humanitarian disaster. According to the UN, 80% of the Yemeni population is in desperate need of humanitarian aid to meet even its most basic needs. There is evidence that the Saudis are deliberately targeting civilians. According to The Guardian, more than 1/3 of all Saudi-led air raids on Yemen have hit civilian sites, such as school buildings, hospitals, markets, mosques, and economic infrastructure. Just the other day, there was a US-backed Saudi-led airstrike on a funeral that killed 140 people and wounded another 525. According to the Associated Press, in the aftermath of the strike, hundreds of body parts were found strewn in and outside the hall. Rescuers collected them in sacks. The attack turned the funeral into a lake of blood. Another country we're bombing is Libya. Now, you may remember we bombed them way back in 2011 to get rid of their dictator, Muammar Gaddafi. But after we got rid of Gaddafi, the country descended into chaos and ISIS was able to move in. So now we're bombing them because we don't like the replacement for the guy that we didn't like. And finally, the 7th country we're currently bombing is Somalia. Back in March, an American drone killed 150 people there. Now, immediately, the Obama administration put out a statement that claimed that every one of those 150 people was a dangerous terrorist from Al-Shabaab, a group that has carried out several attacks within Somalia. No one has independently verified that all 150 people killed were in fact terrorists. The only evidence we do have is from that one statement, from the government that killed them. And that brings up another important point. Who exactly does the US government consider an enemy combatant in the endless global war on terror? The New York Times reports that the Obama administration considers all military-age males in a strike zone as combatants, unless there is explicit intelligence posthumously proving them innocent. Well, that's convenient. Any dude standing near a place where we decide to bomb is an enemy of the United States. If you really think about it, they're not wrong. So just to recap, since we launched the war on terror after September 11, 2001, we've spent $4 trillion and 1.3 million people have been killed in our combat zones all around the world. So Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen, Libya, and Somalia are the 7 countries we are currently dropping bombs at. Oh, and just as a reminder, the number of wars currently authorized by our Congress, 0.
But they're doing it
exactly. Exactly. That's what he's saying.
So now Bashar, he made a statement regarding why America. This will be the last video, but why America hates him. Remember the dude we just saw said if you're not a puppet, America hates you. You have to work for America.
Why do you think that the people in the West question your legitimacy?
This intervention in Syria matters. I don't care about it, to be frank. I never cared about it, as long as I have the public support of the Syrian people. That's my legitimacy. Legitimacy comes from the inside. But why? I will tell you why. Because the West used to have puppets, not independent leaders or officials in any other country. And that's the problem with Putin. They demonize Putin because he can say no and he wants to be independent, because the West, especially the United States, don't accept partners. They only accept followers. Even Europe is not partner of the United States. That's to be very frank with you. So this is their problem with Syria. They need somebody to keep saying yes, yes man, a puppet, marionette, and so on. Somebody who can control by remote control.
There are those who argue that you feel now that you are militarily stronger, that the advent of the Hezbollah and Iranian advisors and American airstrikes and coalition airstrikes, that you feel militarily stronger and therefore you're less willing to negotiate.
Any war can deplete the strongest power, even the United States. When you go to war, you will be depleted in every sense of the word. And we are a small country. We'll be depleted more than a great country. So you cannot say that you are militarily power. This is again the reality. But you can say that you are politically power, because when you win the heart and mind of the people, the more support from the population, this is where you became more powerful. So what we achieved militarily, not because we are stronger militarily, because we have more support.
And how much do you believe you may have some opportunity to win the hearts of the minds and hearts of the Syrian people because they fear ISIS more than anybody.
We cannot ignore this reason, or this, let's
And
say, this
ISIS
factor.
has changed the circumstances.
We cannot ignore that factor. We cannot ignore it. We don't say no. This is factor, but you have another factors. When you're transparent with the citizen, with the people, when you're patriotic, you work for their interest, they will support you even if they disagree with you politically. So we don't have support now from the traditional supporters. We don't have support because they don't oppose us. We have opposition who oppose our government in many aspects, economy, politics, political systems, and so on. But they know that we are working for this country, and when you have a war, it's time for unity, not time for division or recriminations, and so on. That's why I said we can have more support, and we've had it. We've already had it.
So he revealed that America hates him because he's not a puppet. And like you were saying, America creates boogeymen. ISIS was created under the Clinton administration. It started to develop. And then that's why, what's his name, Trump was getting on Obama. He said, you guys created ISIS and all that. And because where'd they get all those weapons from, those high-tech weapons ISIS got? America and Europe. Give me 2 Ezra 16. I ain't breaking a sweat. I'm rejoicing before the Lord. In case anybody want to know, y'all should be rejoicing too. Here we go. This is why. Women going, why are you rejoicing? Why you shouldn't be happy over that? Oh, shut the hell up. Come on.
2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria.
And who?
And Syria.
What we're reading about is Bible prophecy. You ain't going to read about Syria in these lands in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. You ain't going to read it about the Quran. You ain't going to read it about it in the Gilgamesh epics. You ain't going to read about it in the Buddhist writings. Only the Holy Bible gives you prophetic text. Believe it or not. Read it again.
Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria.
Come on.
Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand.
Your destruction is at hand. Come on.
A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back?
When it says a sword, it's going into war, like missiles. Because ain't nobody running around with swords today. It's talking about missiles, war, a drone. Right, go ahead.
A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it?
Who can stop the wars? Go ahead.
Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away?
Come on.
May any man drive away an hungry lion in the wood? Or may any one quench the fire in stubble when it has begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer. The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away?
You see that? These plagues is coming upon the earth more and more according to Scripture. So that's why we don't have time for foolishness. That's why we take this truth very seriously. People on the street say, y'all take that Bible too seriously. You take TV too seriously. We're going by what the Bible says. Thus saith the Lord. Okay? Give me 2 Ezra chapter 11. Let's start at 39 about the United States of America. America. It's talking about Rome, but then it jumps to America.
2 Ezra chapter 11 and verse 39.
Let me say this, because America is an extension of ancient Rome. And it's, as we read down, you're going to see that too. Go ahead.
Art not thou it that remaineth of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them?
Stop. Go to chapter 12, verse 10 and 11.
2 Ezra chapter 12, verse 10. And he said unto me, this is the interpretation of the vision.
Come on.
The eagle whom thou sawest come up from the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel.
Referring to Daniel chapter 7, verse 7 through 19. Go ahead.
But it was not expounded unto him. Therefore now I declare it unto thee.
So the fourth beast that Daniel saw, the animal symbol was the eagle. When you read Daniel 7, it never tells you the animal symbol. It tells you about Babylon being a lion. It tells you about Persia being the bear. Then it goes into the Greeks being the leopard. Then when you get to the fourth kingdom, you don't, in no description. The description is here in 2nd Esdras, chapter 12. Now jump over to the chapter before. It's talking about the same fourth beast. 2nd Esdras 38.
Hear thou, I will talk with thee, and the highest shall say unto thee, art not thou it that remaineth of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them?
Right, remember, it's talking about Rome, but Rome fell in 193 AD. So the end of the world didn't come yet, so he's letting you know that Rome was going to be revived as the United States of America. Read on.
And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness.
So Rome overcame Babylon, which was the symbol of the lion. Rome overcame Persia, which was the symbol of the bear. Rome actually absorbed the Greeks, which was the symbol of the leopard. Go ahead.
And over the whole compass of the earth.
They took down all nations, the dark nations. Go ahead.
Which with much wicked oppression.
Now I want y'all to see that part right there. Because although he's talking about Rome, he's also alluding to America. With much wicked oppression. Go ahead.
And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit.
You see that? And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. Many times through American media, Americans think America's telling the truth. The Bible says they dwelt upon the earth with deceit. They lie, they lie, they lie. Read.
For the earth hast thou not judged with truth.
Just as Rome did, America set themselves up as the police of the earth. That's why anytime there's a problem in the earth, America goes, we're going to go fix it. And because they have a motive behind it. There's an agenda behind their motives.
Right. They create the problem.
Exactly.
And then they say they're going to go fix the problem. And they get their media to make you think that they're actually going to do some humanitarian aid or something.
That's why the Marines said it's a lie when they say, oh, we're against war, we're against war. America initiates the wars, starts the wars, creates the boogeyman, sends forth propaganda to get the people in those lands against their own government. That's what they do. Go ahead.
For thou hast afflicted the meek.
Now, when it says thou hast afflicted the meek, guess what? We are the meek. Because the word meek means submissive. There's another scripture that calls the American Indians the meek. Christ called all Israel the meek. Go ahead.
Thou hast hurt the peaceable.
Read the whole verse again so we get the thought.
For thou hast afflicted the meek. Thou hast hurt the peaceable.
There's another scripture in Psalms that calls our people, the peaceable ones. And the pilgrims and the demonic came against us. We taught them how to farm and all that. What they do to the American Indians? Gave them blankets of smallpox and killed them. That's what they did. Read.
Thou hast hurt the peaceable. Thou hast loved liars.
Esau loves liars. Go ahead.
And destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit.
That's Gad and the natives that were on this side of the world. Go ahead.
And has cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm.
Wherever they went, from Hispaniola to Puerto Rico, all these places, the Indians in those lands, the Israelites in those lands, did them no harm. But they came and enslaved them, murdered them, tortured them. That's what the Bible is revealing. Go ahead.
Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty.
Go ahead.
The highest also have looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled.
Come on.
And therefore appear no more, thou eagle.
So it's telling you, America, the symbol of America is the eagle. That's what he's talking about. And therefore appear no more, thou eagle. Go ahead.
Nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body.
So this means they're going to be destroyed. Go ahead.
That all the earth may be refreshed.
So the Bible is saying when this eagle is destroyed, all the earth may be refreshed. You got some dummies talking about this. This is only talking about Rome. When Rome fell, is the earth refreshed?
Nope.
No. So they don't know what to... Stop listening to these dumb, unlearned Israelite camps out there. So it said, verse 46, one more again.
That all the earth may be refreshed and may return, being delivered from thy violence.
See that? Being delivered from thy violence. So the white man is a violent man.
Absolutely.
Like we read in Micah 2 earlier today. Go ahead.
And that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her.
And all the earth, and especially us, will hope for the judgment of him that made us. That's what he's saying.
Right.
That is the prophecy that the churches are clueless about. Go ahead.
Right. That is what Isaiah 14 is talking about when it says, yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee.
Let's get that. Let's
Since
get
thou
that.
art laid down, no fellow has come up against us.
Let's get that part. Let's get that.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 6.
Okay.
He who smote the people in wrath.
Wait, smote the people in what?
Wrath.
Wrath. That goes back to that perpetual hatred that they have against us. Go ahead.
With a continual stroke.
Did it say he ended whipping us?
With a continual stroke.
He just changed the tool. He went from the whip to welfare. From that to the school and the prison system.
There you go, right there.
He changed tactics, but it's still a continuous whip. Go ahead.
He that ruled the nations in anger.
So it says he rules the nations in anger. This is telling you about the United States of America. They rule the nations in anger. Wait. No, go ahead. That's for another class. Go ahead.
That ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth.
When it says they are persecuted and none hindereth, it's talking about terrorist activity. Nobody's going to be able to stop it. That's the prophecy. Go ahead.
The whole earth is at rest.
That's what you was talking about. The whole earth is at rest.
When he's done, when he's gone down, like we was reading in Obadiah, this will I bring thee down. Also in Revelation, where it says that the eighth head is going to go into perdition. When he goes down, the whole earth is going to be at rest.
Exactly. What verse was that?
That was verse 7.
Go ahead.
The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing.
Everybody gonna sing. Do you hear what the Bible is saying? When this man go down, your friend, when that man go down, the white man, it says the whole earth will break forth into singing. That's gonna be a glorious day. Go ahead.
Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow is come up against us.
This lets you know that there's a spirit in trees. Because you look at movies like The Hobbit, Return of the King, where the trees are talking. You go, oh, that's fairy tale, that's fiction. There's a spirit in trees that the Lord knows. That's why it says, the trees shall rejoice. What it said, yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee. And the cedar trees of Lebanon saying, since you are laid down, no fellow, meaning axe cutter, no fella is come up against us. Now that's some heavy stuff right there.
You saw that in Lord of the Rings. All right, when the trees and them went to fight against the orc because they was cutting down all the trees in the forest. You saw that in that movie right there.
Right, that goes back into Genesis. When that fugitive that's running from justice, when he's finally captured, the whole earth is going to be at rest.
Give me, as we're about to close out, give me Hebrews chapter 11. Hebrews chapter 11, and let's start 1 through 6, please. This class, as all of our classes, is always meant to build our faith. Because what we try to show all of you brothers and sisters is that the things in the world is recorded in the Bible. So that you'll always know that the Bible is a true book and the only true book. Many of us grew up in families. We live in so-called neighborhoods where they say the Bible is a fairy tale book. No, the Bible is as real as you and me. So we have to increase our faith in its truth because these are the last days. Start.
Now faith, Hebrews chapter 11 and 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
There was a time when scriptures were written, like when we're reading about Syria and Egypt, where they had not come to pass yet. Isaiah 14 had not come to pass yet, okay? But now we are in a day and age where we're seeing it before our face, before our very eyes. And that should tell us the Bible is real, the Most High God is real, He is present. What's that word called? Omnipresent. Omnipresent. Okay? Everywhere. Right. Read on.
For by it the elders obtained a good report.
The previous elders before us, talking about the biblical elders, when they preached the word, many of those things had not come to pass in their lifetime. But it came to pass in other prophets' lifetimes. Go ahead.
Through faith we understand that the words were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear.
Because remember, the Most High had Moses rewrite the history of creation when he got to the mountaintop. He said, I want you to rewrite Genesis. And that's what Moses did. But Moses himself did not see it. That's what it's talking about. It says, through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. The world was not made by things which appear currently. That was in the beginning. Read on.
By faith Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh.
Right, he testified from the earth, from the grave. Go ahead.
By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found because God had translated him. For before his translation he had this testimony that he pleased God.
Come on.
But without faith it is impossible to please him.
That's the point we wanted to get to. Without faith, brothers and sisters, it is impossible for us to please God. We must believe that this book, I remember a young lady in St. Martin, she said the Bible was written by a white man. So I asked her, I said, can I tell you what's going to happen in the next 10 minutes? She said, no, it's impossible. You don't know what I'm going to do in the next 10 minutes. I said, what if I could show you in the Bible things that occurred? So we went to where we go, brothers? Deuteronomy 28. Exactly. When we read it to her, she was shocked and amazed. Then she understood not only was the Bible not written by the white man, it was not written by any man. It is impossible for a regular man who does not have the Spirit of God on him to write those words. Because people, how do you know the Bible's a true book? Deuteronomy 28. It's either Deuteronomy 28 is truth or it's a lie. They're all going to say it's true. So you got them right there. Don't worry. Read verse 6 again.
But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
Right. We must diligently seek the Most High in these last days. Jump down to verse 32, please. And we're going to read down.
32. And what shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon, and of Barak, and of Samson, and of Jephthah, of David also, and Samuel, and of the prophets.
Because Hebrew 11, Paul was building the faith of the Hebrews who thought they were at one time teachers, but they didn't understand about Christ and what our forefathers went through. Paul was going through the history for them. Go ahead.
Who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouth of lions.
So now he gave examples of what the forefathers did that he mentioned. Go ahead.
Quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens.
Come on.
Women received their dead raised to life again.
Like when you read about Elijah. Go ahead.
And others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection.
So now in the same verse, he reveals that there were other believers, okay, who were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. Like when we read in the book of Maccabees, remember the woman who had 7 sons? Go ahead.
And others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, yea, moreover of bonds and imprisonment.
What I want y'all to see, he gave 2 sides to a coin. He talked about some forefathers, they saw great things, miracles, things of that nature. Others did not. They didn't see anything, and they got deaf. I want y'all to see, because many times people ask us, how come y'all don't raise the dead? Where's the power? When you read through the Bible, did Jeremiah have spiritual power? Everybody don't know the answer. The answer is no. The prophet Jeremiah did not have spiritual power. There are a few prophets that had spiritual power. You had Moses, right?
Yes, sir.
Elisha, Joshua after that a little bit. Who else? Elisha, Elijah.
Samson.
Did you say Samuel? What did he do?
The familiar, no.
No, he didn't. He didn't. What I'm showing you, that spiritual power came at certain points in time that God determined. It did not come year after year after year after year with everybody. No, it did not. Did John the Baptist have spiritual power? No. And Christ said among men born of women, he's the greatest. And he did not have spiritual power at all. Christ had spiritual power. Paul and the disciples did for a time. I'll say it like that purposely, for a time. So what I want y'all to see, that spiritual power does not always come forth. Okay? Read that again, that verse.
And others had trial of cruel mockings and scourging, yea, moreover of bonds and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented.
Y'all see that? Being destitute, afflicted, and many times we think that what we're going through is the end of the world. Believe me, brothers and sisters, what we go through in this day and age is nothing compared to what our ancestors went through. Imagine a woman who has 7 sons and they was killing. I doubt any of these women could go through that. We could not. I don't doubt half the many men could go through that. Very few. Very few. We break down. Oh, God, Jesus. We couldn't take that stuff. So we are like, there's another scripture that says every generation grows weaker than from the beginning. Right? It's in Esdras. They grew weaker. So now we're coming in and we're weaker than our forefathers and foremothers. So read that again. What verse you at?
That was verse 37.
Read it again.
They were stoned. They were sawn asunder. Were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy.
So the world was not worthy of them. Go ahead.
They wandered in deserts.
Some of our foreparents wandered in deserts.
And in mountains.
Some of our foreparents wandered in mountains. Go ahead.
And in dens and caves of the earth.
Some of them dwelt in dens and caves of the earth. Like when you read in Maccabees, remember it said there was a remnant of Israel that hid in caves. And the Greeks came and killed all of them that they found. Go ahead.
And these all, having obtained a good report through faith.
Through what?
Through faith.
Through what?
Through faith.
We must have faith. That is the point. We must maintain faith. Go ahead.
Received not the promise.
So although they didn't receive the promise, at that time, they maintained their faith. That's what I want everybody in here, everyone listening, to understand. Many times we may pray for things and it may not come to pass when we want it, when we pray for it. But don't lose your faith because of that. Okay? Read that verse again.
And these all, having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise. God having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect.
So the foreparents that died were not made perfect without the parents that came after them, even those of us today. Okay? That's what he's talking about, meaning they were not made perfect because the rest of the Israelites had not come into the earth. Remember it says in every 3rd and 4th generation, Israel had to come back, okay, and fulfill certain things. Last scripture, give me the one, faith comes by hearing. Give me that one. Remember what that is in Romans? 10:17 is it?
The book of Romans chapter 10 and verse 17. So then, faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God.
That's why we got to constantly listen to the classes over and over and over. Repetition will build faith, okay? Repetition will help build faith. That's why when Esau puts out Christmas, they put it out consistently. They'll start in October, right? October, and you hear Christmas carols. That's to get you ready. Right. And all the flashbacks when you was a child. So likewise, in this truth, we got to bring out, we constantly got to be in this Bible, hearing it, meditating on it to build our faith. It will build our characters.
Right. This constant hearing of the scriptures is the way that we retool our mind away from the damaging brainwashing that we have received throughout our sojourn here in America. It's going to take that kind of process. You might have to overdo it, so to speak. You might have to fanatically listen to the classes, like you say, you know, to offset the damage that was done through years of melted television all over your head. It's going to take some real work. It's going to take you have to damn near fill up every minute of your spare time with listening to a class to offset You have to brainwash yourself so you can understand. Wash your brains of the dirt that has been collected in the crevices of your brain since birth.
You're either going to be brainwashed by God or brainwashed by the world. It's one or the other.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.